Whoa.
Hey, don't do that, would you? Ooh, that's heavy. What you got in your purse?
Don't talk to me like that. Hey guys, we're doing our cooking with Corsos. Are you ready?
I am. I need your phone though.
Oh, it is
It's in your purse.
in my purse. Savannah's gonna be here to answer y'all's questions. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't let y'all know. I had a busy day.
You didn't let them know?
No, I had to go pick up kennels in Austin. I bought them, had them shipped in. I had to go pick up all of those, and I had to go to the post office to. I had a person who bought a puppy for me that fulfilled all of our obligations, and so I had to go and mail off her revoking of limited registration today too.
Oh.
So, hey there, Connor.
She wasn't serious. She is serious.
About what? What am I serious about?
About, what you do, about your dog.
Hey,
your company.
No, get down. No. Okay, sorry. Had to get onto my dogs. I'm going to try to put it here where maybe you guys see the dogs more, like even whenever they're pulling their shenanigans. I don't know
that there is
if we can do that.
Where it is 1 a.m. right now? Somebody's like, I need to go to bed. It's 1 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Yes, go to bed. 1 a.m.
It's
Go to
only
bed.
7 o'clock or it's 6:54 here.
I'll leave you, I guess.
I'm going to sit.
Here, okay, we'll do it like this because I'm sure they want to see what I'm cooking too. Maybe I should back it up some. But there's dogs behind my. Watch out.
Dogs.
Watch out, Belladonna. Scoot your boot.
I don't have to stand.
Hold on, I'm gonna move it. Watch out, you guys move. Good dogs. Good dogs. Good dogs. All right, hopefully, maybe that'll be a little bit better. You think? Sorry. Uh-oh. That's no good. The sun.
I know, it's fine.
That's okay?
Yeah.
All right. Up on my counter, you crazy girl. No vocals. Oh, look at them over there. Y'all better quit it. Shh. Hey. No. Shh.
Yes. Belladonna still has her phone on.
Oi. Shh. You better quit. Quit. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. All right, you get.
How many dogs will you get soon?
Oh. How many dogs will I get soon?
Yes.
I've got all of them except for one so far that I'm going to be purchasing. I've got one that I'm not purchasing that I'm waiting on out of a litter that I said preacher to as well.
If you have a question, you may ask it.
Right. What's up?
Are you still getting the kitten?
Yes. Yes, I am. I got pictures of him actually recently. He looks so cute. He looks like a yes, it's your baking stuff. He looks like those really cool Maine Coons that almost look like really, dude? that almost look like what am I thinking of? That look like little wildcats. I don't know what you call them. Dude, get out of my way.
What are we having for dinner?
Seriously, hey, out of the kitchen now. Go. Out. You know the drill. Out. Out. Go.
What's for dinner?
Out. What? Catfish. Fried catfish.
And where am I?
No, go. Go. Out. Out. Blondie, out. Get one. Oh, get. Go. Catchword, go. Not for you. Go. Out. Go.
You guys get. You want to put the baby thing away? It's not going to bed.
No. No. Go. No. 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 You know what? Not okay. No. Get down off my counter. No. No. Out. Go. Now. Get and go lay down, Cashmere. They are just not in. Go.
Somebody said Mama Rachel was
Y'all get over here now. Come on, let's go. Get over here. Everybody, get over here. You get up here and you go lay down now. Get up here, Pritchard. Get up here and lay down. Now. Stop it. You stay. Don't mess with me. You lay down now. All the way. All the way down. Now. Down. Down, Midnight. Down. You stay. You down. All the way. All the way. Quit. Don't think you can push me around my own house. Quit. Don't. Stay put.
Oh, let me go. I understand.
Quit. You stay. Out. Don't. This is not for you.
Somebody said, Savannah, you and Chubb, Mom.
Ah! I said no, Cashmere. You get your butt up there now and you lay down. Don't even think about it. Don't. I will kennel you so fast, your head will spin. Do you understand me, Blondie? Go lay down now. You're not getting nothing but kennel time if you come in this kitchen. Blondie, shh, out.
Get her down.
You get over there now. Come here and lay down. Blondie, come here now. Let's go. Come on. Blondie, come here now. Let's go. Come on. Go over here. Now. Now. Actually, not with you.
Go.
Lay down. Now. Blondie,
Lay down.
lay down. She is really being a butt today. Not doing what she's told. Midnight. All right, I'm kenneling them because they're going into heat. As I've said before, I warned you guys that this was going on. They're going into heat, and they're just not being themselves. So I'm going to kennel Blondie and Midnight because I'm not in the mood for it. Let's go. Get in here now. Midnight, come on. Midnight, come. Blondie, get in there now. Midnight, let's go. Come on. Midnight, come on. You're here. Come on. Everybody back over here. Now. Come on, you guys. Back over here. Come on. Over the couch. Couch. Now. Up. Now. Freak, get up. Hyper, get up. Okay. Lay down. Good girl. Lay down. Good girl. That's good. That's good. Okay. Sorry about that, but I mean, they can only do what's in their limitations. And right now, with them fixing to go into heat and being all hormonal, they're just not gonna. They're just gonna keep testing boundaries, and I'm not in the mood to make you guys have to sit through that, because I will literally have to sit there and be consistent. If I let them get away with it, it's not gonna work. Lay down, and you stay. Okay. Let's see here. Where's the stuff you guys bought?
Oh, look at the last one. Let's say there's more over here.
I'm pretty sure this is it. Yep, okay, cool. I just need to. All right. So you ask questions and I will finally get to do this.
I just picked up Belladonna while you were letting me get the dogs out. People are saying I should have gotten chicken.
Yeah.
I was picking her up.
Good job, Scoop.
She's okay though. She's slowing me down. She's doing good. Will you build kennels outside, or are you going to space inside for all of them?
I have every intention of building outside kennels, and we will use them at our discretion. You know, no, get down off my counter now. Down. Get down. Oh my God. I swear.
You go lay down now.
They're probably feeding off my energy. I had a rough day today, and I'm a bit frustrated, and they're probably just feeding off that. To be perfectly honest with you, I was speaking out about the Rottweiler dogs, and I got attacked by one of the people that is just really well known in the community for like attacking people. And so it really just, it's like, it's not unexpected, but it's still frustrating. And so that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? It's, you know, if you, you can either like not say anything and go along and get along, or you can speak up and say something and then get attacked by people that don't want you saying anything. And, you know, it's just is the way it is. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter that I have the breed's best interest at heart or that I'm trying to do the right thing. To them, it just matters that I've said something that they don't like. And so they just go out of their way to tarnish my name. Also found out that one of my puppy buyers is going around making false accusations against me. So I had to actually post screenshots of all that today. So it's just been a rough day. And I even wasn't going to do the cooking with Corsos because I was so frazzled and I didn't want you guys to have to even like deal with this or even hear about it. But unfortunately, the dogs are picking up on my energy and they're being really frazzled as well. And so I have to kind of just own it because, you know, it's our energy affects our dogs. And so it's always important to remember that. And so I have to kind of acknowledge that now and kind of let you know what's going on. And hopefully now I can kind of reset and do this now that I've kind of gotten it off my chest and it's not just, you know, brewing under the surface.
Thank you, Where Bros. I don't know how to say that, but they donated $2. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Let's see. People said we are your fan.
Thank you, guys.
Good or bad day.
No, not yours. Lay down now. Now. Don't.
Wait for the questions coming. Everybody's sorry. I didn't know. Somebody send that crazy woman my way. I'll set a kangaroo on her. How is that?
He's doing really good. I'm trying to set up a meeting between his owners and us, like at like a dog park or something, but it's just kind of slow communication is all. Just making it a priority with everything I've got going on.
When will Kaiser have her puppies?
She's due on the 13th of April. I think we should kind of maybe. Doop.
How is Bishop?
Bishop, as far as I know, he's doing really good. The last time that I the last time that I checked with his owners, he was doing really good.
Where in the city? She's not our dog.
She's actually
she's here,
she's here right now. She's kenneled. There's no way I could have her out right now.
Oh, no.
With these guys, like there's just no way. She's so high energy that she would literally just run circles. She would just bounce around. You have no idea.
She is a living tornado.
Yep.
Never is due on the same date as my sister.
Oh, that's cool. Black gloves, but yes.
I believe so. Where is big boy Batista?
He's laying over there trying to stay out of trouble. He's being smart right now.
Chewing on something. I gotta get that from him.
No. Out. One.
Will you ever get involved with Rottweilers?
No. No, I like them, but not enough to breed them. You know, you have to have a lot of passion for a breed to be able to breed them because it is such a contentious field to be in. Like there's always going to be people that are just no matter what you're breeding. I used to breed fish. It was the same way. You know, it's just super out now. It's just super competitive and aggressive, and it's just not something that you can do unless you're really passionate about something. Out, one, go. No, out. No. Out.
Hold on. Have you ever sent any dogs to Europe?
No.
And another question kind of related to that was,
No, I cannot send dogs to Europe because of the fact that their customs and stuff. Stop. No. Their customs and stuff won't allow it. It's too hard to do because they don't have rabies over there, and so like they just won't let you bring anything in that isn't like fully vaccinated against rabies, which means the dog has to be a certain age, and it's super expensive too, really expensive.
Somebody said they donated $5.
Thank you.
They said, thank you guys for all your hard work. Rachel, you mentioned once you wanted to breed rabbits to feed your dogs. Is that still a plan or no?
No, I don't have the time, unfortunately. I did it before, but
Didn't work.
no. But I had more time back then, and now I just don't, unfortunately. So I wish I had the time though, because it's as far as I understand it, it's a very good source of meat for your dogs. Can you run her out whenever you can see her?
Oh, her?
Yes.
You guys get out now, all of you. Out.
Any dog.
Out now, all of you. Come on, now, out. You guys get over here now. Lay down. Now. Over here. Get over here now. Come.
Out. Out now. Out.
Here, guys.
Go. You guys get. Go. 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 Out.
Michelle.
Get. Out. 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 Go.
Liberty, come
Run
on.
for you. Go. Where are you? You're being bad today.
Hey, no. Batista. Batista, get over here
Out now. Out.
Put it. Get over here now.
No. Out. You.
Can
Stop.
I put that gate up, like, long way with the consent?
Shh. Every time there's raw meat in this house, they think it's for them, I swear. Out, Batista. No. Then calling them over there really isn't going to do anything quite this.
You guys, come here.
Where's the sponge at?
It's probably under all that stuff. I know there's one over there. You guys, get over here now. Oh, take them off over here. Out. Get. Go. Preacher, go now. Preacher, I said go.
There we go.
Oh, get back. Yeah.
Paper towels?
Right here. Get on this side now. Get. No, go. She runs off from
It's
me.
better to make them go lay in a specific area and
No.
then make them stay. Like how I did with Preacher.
You go. You lay down now. Lay down. Here, let me ask you a question.
They can't always be good.
Lay down now. Will you kennel your dog in an outdoor setting? Or you already answered this question.
I will create outdoor kennels and I will have dogs that are in outdoor kennels from time to time, but it's not going to be something that like any dog just lives permanently outside. And even as such, I think that I'll bring my dogs in, even if I have a dog in heat, let's just say that I've got it outside, so it doesn't have to be in a small kennel for the whole day. I'll still have them kenneled outside because of the fact that they will benefit from being out in the sunshine and stuff like that. But bringing them in and kenneling them at night is important because there are like parasitic bugs here that are a problem. I think it's called like the kissing bug. I don't know if you guys have heard about those, but there's something that I personally just don't want to have happen to my dogs. And I think that the San Antonio Police Department actually loses a couple dogs a year to this parasite. Once it bites them, the things that it does to them are permanent. Like I forget what it's called right now. It's like on the tip of my tongue. I was telling a friend about it. Now I can't remember. Chagas, that's what it is. Chagas disease. And that comes from a parasite that's been spreading all over the United States. And so it's just not good to leave your dogs outside like that. But I would like to have outside kennels where I can take you know, I can take some dogs and like let them run outside, or if like I'm boarding a dog and I don't want them mixing with my dogs, then I'll have an outside kennel for them. Or if have a dog here for breeding purposes, I'll have that, you know. That way they're not just stuck in a 42-inch kennel, even though it's big enough for them to lay down in, and it's fine. It's still not quite sufficient for, you know, long-term stuff.
Lay down now. They said, where is it? Well, the question was, hey Rachel, has a dog in your pet ever shown aggression towards you or siblings before? How would you handle it?
No, they've not shown aggression. They have communicated displeasure. I've had dogs that,
especially puppies.
Yeah, puppies that have growled at us. But I mean, that's just them communicating that they don't like something we did. Now, it doesn't mean we're gonna back down. It doesn't mean we're gonna listen. But I mean, they've done it. But I've never had one try to snap at us or try to be aggressive. So.
Let's see. What are you looking for?
Do we have that oil, that peanut oil, or do I just have the olive oil?
Look under there, possibly. Unless we used it all recently.
Here? That's right. I should have bought the light. I think I did. Yeah, I did. Okay, good. I bought the front oil.
Okay. Best way to contact you and your advice on stray dogs. Best way to contact you to ask your advice about a stray dog situation.
I mean, you can try my Gmail. I just can't guarantee that I'll have the time for it. I mean, it really depends on like what's going on as to if I can help. And what I do ask is that people try to be as detailed as they can be, without like going overboard, if that makes sense, so that I can kind of try to address the problem. What? Shh, out! Oh, you're a bad dog. Bad dog. That's so funny.
How do you deal with a disrespectful puppy who doesn't want to listen at all?
You just keep going, just like I'm doing with these guys. You see how he's not listening right now? I mean, you just got to keep going. You just have to be consistent. Sometimes it feels like you're like hitting your head against a wall, and you just have to keep trusting in the in the process, and knowing that if you just keep going, you will prevail. Ouch! Ouch! You just can't give up. You can't let them have their way, or you will lose.
Do choke collars leave marks?
No. Not if used properly, no.
Yes. Yes. How many puppies will there be?
Huh?
How many puppies will there be?
Will there be in the litter?
Yeah, we don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
There's usually around 12 though, right?
Yeah, so far she's had the same amount every time, which was 12. But each time we lost one for various, each time we lost one.
So he said, are you aware of the grain-free BCN study?
Yes, I am. The one with the issue about taurine. That's why I try to feed my dogs a lot of raw, like not all raw, obviously, but I do try to feed a lot of taurine-rich organ meats, like very dense red meats, and then also like heart has a lot of taurine in it. So it really sucks that we're even having to deal with this day and age. You would think that dog food would be getting better, not worse. It's literally at the point now where it almost feels like you should just go back to a grain dog food at this point. I don't know, because my question is that if it's just about the grain-free, why is it, or if it's just about taurine, which is what people have said, why is it that the other dog food wasn't affected before this? Like I was feeding Diamond Naturals for years back whenever I was a breeder of pit bulls, and we let him out, and we didn't have any issues with that popping up. This is a new thing. So did the grain-free options just not put taurine in and the other ones did? Or is it actually blocking taurine absorption? That's the real question. I don't know. If I kind of want to lean to think that possibly it's blocking the taurine absorption, because like, are we really saying that the old like grain dog food had more taurine in it? I don't know, but somehow it has something to do with taurine and either not having enough or it affecting it. And I just want to look at it as a whole, you know, as before with not the grain-free option, and it just doesn't really make that much sense to me.
Can you say this out loud? I don't think you can hear me, but thank you, Ashley Kittredge.
Thank you, Ashley.
And she said, have you ever dealt with a
Catahoula?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the breed?
I have. They're a hunting breed, a working breed. They are I believe a type of hound. And what I can tell you is that, you know, they have a very high drive, and you know, I mean, you're gonna have to really take the time to work with that dog and allow them to get that energy out, and also do a lot of training to be able to direct that energy, because, you know, aside from being a very beautiful dog, and they are, they really do require that you actually take the time to train them, you know what I mean, to work with them and get that energy out, because they are not a breed that has been bred for show long enough for that to have had an effect on their personality. Like for example, you know, you can get a show Labrador that does not have the drive of, say, one that's been used in field trials or bred for that. And so it's just important to remember that they are a true working breed still. All right. Perfect.
Let's see. Hey, Rachel, have you ever, oh, thank you, Steezy.
Thank you. What is it?
Steeezli.
Steesley? Is that it?
They said, I remember you saying something about the lady from Pit Bulls and Harleys. What are your thoughts on her?
On what?
What are the Pit Bulls and...
Oh, Pit Bulls and Parolees?
Yeah. Your opinions on her. They pay nice.
I don't know. I remember that show being out, and I never really watched it, to be honest with you. And I didn't watch it because, for the most part, anybody that does rescue, in my experience, especially if they're mainstream, is usually against breeders. And they usually talk so much crap about breeders during the whole thing that it's just not, I can't even watch it. You know, I can't even stomach it. So maybe I was wrong, but I just never watched it because of that.
This person said, do you think about getting a tattoo in creature?
So I've thought about that, but the truth of the matter is, I have so many dogs that I love that there's no way that I could ever get enough tattoos for all my dogs. So I feel like, how could I get one and not all of them? I have thought about getting their paws. So even my dog Terrible that died, that I told you guys about, I got his name imprinted on his paw. Yeah. His paw. You can show them there.
Hold on. Put it right in me. Let me get that.
I got his paw. That's his actual paw print.
On the back.
So yeah. So I've thought about getting their paw prints as a tattoo.
She doesn't have this on her keychain just because it's
yeah, it's too nice.
Yeah,
I could never handle it if I lost it. I just keep it there as a keepsake. I don't actually use it. But that's one thing I could do. I have enough room, especially if I did small ones, So.
Hold on. Somebody said right through your body would be covered in tattoos.
I know.
I figured out you have like a big tattoo of Preacher in the back, but that's only if you have Preacher, and I don't think you go that far with a tattoo.
Yeah, it's just that, like, I love all my dogs. It's hard for me to make a choice like that. In fact, whenever I even think about it, it's like trying to choose one of your kids over the others. You know, it doesn't feel right. You know, to do that. You're just like, no. They're all different. You get to love them just as much individually because they're different. So you love them for different reasons. It's not comparable, if that makes sense. I don't compare my love for one dog versus another because they're not the same dog, so I can't do that.
Big question. Thank you, Keys08 for this question. What advice would you give a first-time dog owner looking to buy a puppy?
So if you're a first-time dog owner, I would start with, if you're looking for a puppy, which I'm not saying that I don't suggest, but I am saying that it is going to be harder. Okay. But what I will say is that I would go with a breed that doesn't have a lot of training requirements, something that's kind of easy, something that you can kind of get your feet wet with, not something that's hard to train or difficult, Preferably, that's where I really think that like a good rescue can come into play, because a lot of times people have dogs that are like well trained and they're just pets, but sometimes they get abandoned. Maybe the people moved somewhere, they can't have it, something like that. And it's not a dog that requires a lot of training. You've kind of already got a bit of a start with them. And I honestly think that is a good option. I wouldn't go and get like the rescue dog that's been returned a bunch of times, like things like that. But a good dog that just came from a good home and maybe something just didn't work out, whatever it was. It happens all the time. Good dogs, and they just need a home. And that's my opinion, the best place to start. Shh, quiet down. Hey, quiet down. But if not, if you do want something big, you can do something like an English Mastiff. They have a very low energy level. They're big, but they on average tend to have a low energy level. I would not do anything like a Husky or, don't do anything like that. A lot of Greyhound rescue is really good. Or even Greyhounds as a breed, if you wanted to get like a puppy, they tend to be pretty even keels from what I've read and seen. Every Greyhound I've ever met was really chill. Very happy, love to run, but very chill dog. And then I want to say Labrador, but the truth is not all of them. You don't want to get one from working lines because then you're going to have to deal with that energy. So that's a problem. So let's see here. Whoa.
You guys, stop
You want to
now.
grab it?
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get him here. Come on, guys, now. Come on. Hey, the teacher, come here.
All right, so in the meantime, go. I'm going to start doing my other stuff if I can. I have a bowl.
Go lay down now.
No.
Hey, geez.
Okay, hold on.
Preacher, get out of the kitchen. We don't answer questions about do we like a certain breed or anything, because we've answered them so many times.
I mean, if it's one that I haven't answered a bunch of times,
Well,
it's
this
fine.
person keeps on asking here, Rachel, do you like the breed Bull Mastiff? I feel like
Yeah. I mean, they're, as far as I know, they're all right. I don't really have a preference on them. They're not a breed that I wanted to get into.
I look at the gloves, the boob.
Just so that I don't have to wash my hands afterwards, after everything.
Yeah, how did you get the name Batista?
In breeders in Europe will only, like, they like to keep their litters, what's the word, uniform. And so when they name their puppies, they all have to have, if it's from one litter, they all, or the same litter, they all have to have the same first initial. That way you can identify that litter.
I didn't realize I had to do that. I thought you just named it Batista because that's Italian, or not Italian.
I knew I had to use the letter B, and so that's why I chose Batista.
Would you advise getting a Corso puppy as a first-time owner?
Nope, I would not. Not at all.
That's why it's on them.
Where's my? Do I have tongs? I felt like I had tongs.
Let's see. How many dogs do you plan on getting in the future? How many dogs have you added to, or will you add to your program?
Probably only one more or two more. Actually, that's not true. As far as like adding from outside of my program, there's really no telling. Actually, I mean that in any given program, you're supposed to evolve. You're supposed to grow, and so you're not supposed to just keep the same dogs and keep breeding and breeding and breeding, because then you're not improving. In order to improve, you have to make planned, purposeful breedings, keep the best offspring out of that, and then keep breeding towards, better and better. Every dog has faults, and ultimately that's your goal. So, I am obligated to bring new dogs into my program, and to retire dogs out of my program. There's two schools of thought on that. One school of thought is that, you should never, get rid of a dog. And another school of thought is when you have as many dogs as I do and other breeders do, that the dog doesn't get the same amount of attention. And so ultimately they end up not having as much of a positive experience that they would if they did have that. And especially because dogs don't live in the past. They don't freak out about not being, like as all of you saw with the pictures of Preacher, whenever he was being shown, he wasn't all sad, depressed, he didn't care. That's just the way it is. They don't live in the past. They live in the moment. And as long as everything's good and the person with them is being nice and feeding them, then they'll love them just the same.
That doesn't mean, though, that the next time they see you, they're not going to be...
Yeah, it doesn't mean they forget about you. Not at all. It just means that that's not how they live. And we could actually learn a lot from that. Having said that, I don't get rid of all my dogs. You know what I mean? Like, there are dogs that I choose to keep because that's like, that's my treat. That's my pet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my cost and honestly cross to bear, because the truth of the matter is, like, whenever you keep a dog in your program, you're preventing that dog from being able to go out and live a pet life. You're not giving them that option, and so I see it as because the dogs that I keep, like Preacher, for example, as my pet, I take him out a lot. Like he doesn't necessarily get favoritism, like not in front of everybody else. But I do take him places, like, he is special to me the same way that Terrible was very special to me in the same way. And I think in order to do this, you have to have that. You have to. Otherwise, if you could just get rid of any dog you have, then you probably aren't doing it for the right reasons.
All right, Ross, there's a question.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
I rambled too much.
Yeah, thank you. Jacqueline H for $5. She said, is the Formentino color due to the dilute gene, like you blue?
Yes.
And would you bring it into your lines?
Yes. So the Formentino is due to the dilute gene. It's just a fawn-like blondie that is dilute. So the black is diluted to the gray, and that's what we're looking at when we see that. So I would breed it into my program. Well, I already have, actually. Thank you. Can't think. Liberty's mother is Formentino. Having said that, I'm not going to just breed it into my line just to have the color. Like I want to have a quality program. So if I produce that color on the way to producing good dogs, then that's awesome. But I'm not going to go out breeding to subpar dogs just because they have that color.
Somebody said, why don't you like the red Cane Corso?
The red? I do like the red. I have a red dog.
Yeah.
As far as like not having a, or if you're talking about the ones that are, like right now, Google Rottweiler mix, and you'll see a bunch of dogs that are this very unique form of red, and it's usually this carbon red, and it's just so like I used to volunteer at a lot of animal shelters, and there, especially back when I was younger, there was a lot of Rottie mixes. They were a very popular breed, and you saw them a lot. And it was just what you saw. It's the color that they throw. And it's very common. And so when I see that in a Corso, especially in Corso lines, that like it's very clear that there's been Rottie mixing in there, that bothers me. But I don't consider that to be a true red. That's different. Like that's not even. Oftentimes those dogs don't even have a mask. They don't have like a black mask. Oftentimes it's literally just that color, that red color.
The person said, my dog almost always tries to bury her food, and she will always follow me around submissively when I give it to her. Is there something I can do to help her feel calm enough to eat?
I mean, I would ignore it. You know, usually that works if you just ignore it. Depending upon the breed of dog you have, you may just have a very nervous dog. But the best thing you can do in that kind of situation is literally act like it's not happening. Just completely ignore them. You better quit eating my catfish. Whamming.
Good.
Whamming.
This person, well, it was deleted, but they were saying how often do you work out? You don't need to work out.
I don't. Don't ask me if I do. I'm not trying to be skinny. Okay. I make zero effort at trying to be skinny. You will see that whenever we eat our cookies tonight. I don't care.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make cookies.
I literally don't care.
She doesn't need to work out because
I already won the evolutionary game.
Yeah,
This is my success. Do you see this beautiful child here? I've already reproduced. You can't stop me. Okay?
You can't stop
I did it. I won.
She won.
My genes have passed through. That's all I have to do.
That's what you gotta do.
I'm not in competition with any of you people. I don't care. You do you. I'm gonna do me.
You're gonna go away now.
It's fried fish, in case you didn't notice.
And in the long run, if the apocalypse was to ever happen, we would be the people to survive.
Yeah, and I say that all the time. Make no mistake about it. What's funny is that I actually don't get out now. I actually don't eat that much, but I am one of those peoples that can just like literally like I just put on weight, and like I'm fine with that. Like literally, I mean, just you have to get to that point where you don't care anymore. I mean, I could do a lot to lose weight, but what I always say to people is, if you're naturally skinny, like that's awesome, but you're born that way. You didn't earn it. Like you want to be proud about that, like be proud, but ultimately you're being proud over something you didn't earn, you didn't work for. You know, I've seen these people all the time where they don't eat any better than me, but they just don't put the weight on. And if I wanted to be skinny like them, I would have to live a different life. You know what I mean? I would have to do things differently, and it would take more effort out of me. And like, it's like, well, why would I do that? You know what I mean? Like why, just because it's easier for you doesn't make you any better. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't care. I've thought a lot about it, and it's literally at the point where like I could waste my time on it and really focus on it and go out of my way to worry about that, but it doesn't matter. And we all get fat when we're old anyway, so get over it.
This person said, I breathe air and gain weight.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, and that's what I'll say about the evolutionary thing is when the zombies come, you're going to starve to death before me, honey. I've got lots of layers of calories that I can just walk on through, baby. So good luck.
Okay. Thank you, Jinx. And they said, no question, just love. Looking forward to Casper's litter and the future for your program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Do you like Sphinx cats? You do.
I do. They're very pretty.
Let me see.
They're very unique.
First-time owners of Cane Corso, which breed would you prefer, Italian or American? But they have experience with other breeds of dogs.
Say what?
Basically, would you recommend either a Italian or Cane Corso or an American Cane Corso?
I mean, it just depends on. Sometimes there's really not much of a difference. Just because a dog is born in America doesn't make it American. When I talk about American, I'm talking about specific lines of dogs that are known for being quote unquote American, old school American lines. There's plenty of breeders here that import dogs and they maintain their lines, and so it really just depends on what the person's lines are. So it's,
Vic, I am her real daughter, and she is that's not her natural hair color. Because they said she's a brunette and I'm a blonde.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I have naturally brown hair. I dye it black because I feel like brown is boring. I do. Yeah.
I am a natural blonde. You would survive the apocalypse anyways. You're Texan. You live you would survive the apocalypse anyways. You're Texan. You live with coyotes, rattlesnakes, and rednecks.
There you go.
Yeah. And we have a bunch of conicorns outside.
That's what I'm telling you. I would like to send my pack loose in the woods, and we would hunt deer and we would feast together. Yeah. There it is. No. Go lay down. Excuse me. Go lay down.
You guys get out now.
Out.
Hey, get. Will you rehome Casimir?
Casimir.
Whatever she's done.
Out. No.
Guys, move now.
Whew. I've said this before. Yes, Casimir most likely. She really loves men better. If you've ever met her, if you've ever been in my house, you'd know that. Like she'll make a fool of herself over guys. Female dogs are often like that. They often are better suited for men. So stop. No, don't try me. No. No. Casimir will tear you open. She will tear you a new one.
This person said go to Alex.
Yeah, we actually discussed that. Alex wanted her.
He wants her.
I told him that if he wants her, that he's more than welcome to take her.
Thank you, Cynthia. Cynthia, is that how you say that? Yeah. Will you have Preacher's genetics saved in a bank for future breeding down the line, or is it once he is done, that's it?
I have actually considered doing that. That way I could always infuse some more of his blood back in the line. I haven't 100% thought of it yet, but I may. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? Hey, out. Because he is a really nice dog, and he definitely is very good and consistent at producing a lot of really nice puppies. But sometimes I just think that I can, that in the long run, I may be able to produce, hopefully will produce better, and it may be better to spend my money on something more like that. Out, 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 out. That's all you get. Go.
You guys get no. I'm glad that person's comment was deleted. My mom looks great no matter what weight she's in. So, yeah.
It's fine. Like I said, it's probably people from that group. There's about 50 of them that
they were just like, if you
that are all
10 more pounds. I was like, excuse me.
Yeah, that are all about that life of like talking down to people and out, 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 out now. You guys, the thing about it is like, gosh, I used to bully people online when I was younger too. And I think what I realized is that the happier you are in your life, the less you do that kind of stuff. So it's much easier to kind of write it off as that, you know what I mean? Just try not to take it personal. Did anybody ever watch or read that book, The 5 Agreements? And that was one of them, is to not take things personal. No. Out. Say what you mean, things like that. Out now. Go. You. Not getting it.
Preacher. Go. With that sad face. Go.
All right. So let's do our stuff.
Would you ever name a dog Secretariat?
Get out now.
Pardon?
Would you ever name your dog after a horse?
Yes, I've named dogs after horses already.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
Eclipse.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I thought you named her Eclipse because you got her near the eclipse. Like, you know, you got her near the eclipse.
I mean, we did get her, like, we did drive home during the eclipse. However, the reason I called her Eclipse was because there were two completely unmatched racehorses named Eclipse. I believe they were unbeaten.
Would you ever name one of your dogs like what's it, Secretariat or something?
No, probably not. That's not, to me, that's just not a very good name, like, for a dog.
Yeah.
All right, so that, what else am I looking for? Lemon, that's right, I've got it.
I don't know what this person's comment was before, but they said, tell your mom if she's marries me. No. Let's see. Thank you. She hasn't found out how many puppies just yet. How old does a stud dog have to be before they won't breed anymore?
You just need to get their health testing done,
Richard,
and then they need to be mature enough to do the job.
No, they said how long until like they stop breeding. Like how old do they need to be?
Oh, I mean, shoot, I know a person like what's her name? Bella. Out now. Belladonna's father is like old man, old. I want to say, I feel like he's at least 10 years old. Belladonna's dad. I'm not 100% certain on that. Go. But I feel like maybe he is. Can't believe you, Savannah.
I thought you didn't see.
Of course I can see. Keep chowing down on my. You're not supposed to do that.
Let me see. I'm waiting. Mom sees all. Somebody said I just want to snuggle with Preacher.
He's a good snuggler.
He is.
Okay. So we're gonna do our.
All mamas have eyes in the back of their heads. I'm waiting for this.
Dadgummit. Ow! 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 Go on, get out now! Now, go.
Somebody said, "How is pregnant woman doing?" AKA Cashmere. She's been very tired.
Very tired.
Sleeping. She's letting those puppies grow in her.
Yep, very tired.
We didn't just take off the top, right?
I could. It would be fun. A touch of dill. Because we like to eat around here.
We do. Am I still going to Virginia?
Yes, she's supposed to be going in June
For summer.
for summer break. Because they're still in school up there.
And then I'll be heading off to high school here.
Yep.
Obviously. Who came up with the name Preacher and why?
Preacher, I did. I was driving home. Remembered that my foster sister had told me about a German Shepherd. I used to own a German Shepherd, and she had told me about her German Shepherd whenever she was growing up, named Preacher. He was the best dog ever, she said. And then it just, when it hit me, I was just like, oh, it's perfect. Like it just clicked, you know? And so, so that's why I named him Preacher, and it worked.
Is that really dope? Does it taste so good?
Yeah, taste it.
Made my eyes burn. No, it doesn't. It's not very strong. Actually, that strongness is coming in just now. Let me see. I'm waiting. Oh, it's none of those are spelled right. it's Savanah, just one N, purposely. Anyways, what's for dinner? People keep asking over and over. What's for dinner?
Catfish, fried catfish and tartar sauce.
Yes. Thank you, Jinx. And they said when you retire Cashmere, Who do you think will become the new alpha female? So I'll just ask a few times. Sorry, answer before.
Geez, that's probably gonna be, I don't know, it's hard to tell. So, you know, while Midnight doesn't seem like much of an alpha, really she is. She's one of those like right under the surface types.
No, Blondie is not the next toughest.
No, and then Belladonna is like super alpha, and then Liberty is super alpha. So it'll be very interesting to see who takes that title. To be honest with you, so it'll be very interesting to see. Bro, back up off me. Rude.
Would you travel anywhere in the world? If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? You wanted to go somewhere with Greece, right? You wanted to go to
Honestly,
don't say Tennessee.
anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Don't say Tennessee.
There's this place in India, like on the ocean, that's like really beautiful. I remember I was looking at beaches to travel to, and I found it, and it was like all these rocks and stuff like that, and it was gorgeous, and it was like across the world. And I remember being very sad about the fact that it was so far away, but it looked to me to be one of the most beautiful, you know, beaches that I'd ever seen. It really wasn't like just a beach. It was just these big cliffs and rock. Like I don't even know about cliffs, but like these rocks coming out of the water, and it looked like it would be so much fun to explore, even in the water. Like there were all these like shallow kind of areas, and it was just it was stunningly beautiful. And yeah, that'd probably be where I would want to go. Maybe other than that, I mean, it's hard. It's hard because there's so many places where as Americans, we're only fed like the tourist lines of like what places look like, and then you kind of see it, and so it's hard to know. I mean, I've always been very fascinated with like the wildlife in Africa, so you know, I don't know, but things like that. I'm big into animals, so.
Have you ever taken your dog to the beach before?
Yes, I have. It was so bad. Preacher drank some of the water.
Oh my!
He was so sick in the hotel. He was so sick. It was so bad.
I was taking him out every 30 minutes.
He kept attacking the water. He kept just biting it and attacking the waves whenever they'd come up. And
Terrible did pretty good in the water whenever we took him.
Yeah, he didn't like it.
No.
But yeah, it was so bad. It really was so bad.
Yeah. Somebody said I want to go to what's it called? The Pigeon Forge.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's really pretty there.
Gorgeous there.
Even as somebody who doesn't really like, somebody who likes the city more, it's really pretty there.
Oh, it's so good.
What, you're gonna eat before me?
Bro, I have to taste test it.
No.
I have to test the tartar.
Tartar?
Mmm. Oh my god. That's how good it is. Back off. Out, Cashmere, go. Seriously, we split these up, you.
I am 13. I'm not 15. Somebody thought that I was this mom's friend at a restaurant a few days ago. They were like, would you like a check too? I was like, no.
Yeah, it's really bad now. Every time I take my daughter out, people ask if we want 2 checks.
Like, no.
Nope.
Not even old enough to have a job. Let me see. What types of owners are best for the County Corso?
You ever heard of the term firm handler? That's what you're looking for. Somebody that is tough, no nonsense, consistent. Has a strong resolve. You know what I mean? Like you don't back down easy. Stuff like that. Scoot your boot. All right. Okay, so let's move that camera so we can sit down.
How do you stay in hotels with your dogs?
I stay at La Quinta, where
there's only 2 dogs.
Where I mean, I will say that like technically, you're only supposed to have 2 dogs, but if you talk to them, a lot of times they don't care as long as you're honest. So good.
Have you seen the new Dumbo movie?
Nope. No.
We haven't seen any of the live-action versions of any of these movies. How is my artwork going? It's okay.
Watch out. Go, Cashmere.
I don't know. What was it like being pregnant with Savannah?
Oh my God. Oh my God. She kicked so much. She kicked so much that when I went into labor, I wasn't even sure that I was in labor. I thought maybe she was just having a party in there. Yeah, like seriously, swear to God, she kicked so much. I have stretch marks just from her. I actually used to have to take my stomach, my hands, and I would just hold her. I would lay like this on my side. I would curl up and I would just like literally take my hands and push her in just so she couldn't like push. It was ridiculous.
You can't restrain me.
Yeah, it was bad.
This is my only one.
Oh, here we go. I think that's good.
Because I'm showing it and I like it. So I'll show you.
Oh, that's cute.
I should.
Wow.
Some of you might know where this is from.
She did that.
Yeah.
It better not be from some horrible thing that I shouldn't be letting you watch.
Oh, it's just an anime.
Making me look bad. Here, I'm going to sit there
Her name
since I have to answer the questions.
Suga.
Can you sit here
Let me see.
and eat food?
I will eat it.
You sit here.
Oh, okay. You got more?
Yeah, you were eating them the whole time.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
I do watch anime. I watch lots of anime.
Lemon if you want them.
No, I know one. Here, I can do it.
Is that going to work?
Are Corso dogs aggressive?
We need some tea. Are Corso dogs aggressive? I mean, they can be if they need to be, you know, or if they're not trained, sure. Any dog can be aggressive. I'm not going to tell you that they can't, you know. They're bred to be aggressive when the moment counts for it, so I really shouldn't be giving you tea.
I drink tea all the time. She just doesn't want to seem like a bad mom. She's not a bad mom.
But she did it herself. She started giving herself tea.
I did. I was tired.
Hey, no, preacher. Get out of the door. Now. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready. Questions?
About
Go
tea.
lay down.
I was tired of not having tea. I
Go.
saw it in the fridge every day for like 13 years, and I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm an adult. I'm a woman. I'm not an adult. And I was like, I'm a woman now. I can drink tea. I can handle the sugar.
And now she does.
What's your opinion on the pocket bully breed?
I mean, so I used to really dislike them, but now I'm kind of indifferent. It's like they're here now. They've caught on. There's really like, it's kind of like the whole saying of like, don't get stressed over spilled milk. It's kind of like that, you know?
Why wouldn't you get stressed over spilled milk? That's a mess.
I'm saying it's already happened. Like, it's like there's nothing you can do about it. So they're here. You know, I guess as long as they are healthy, then I guess who cares, you know?
Thank you, San, and thank you, Henry. San asked, I think that's how you say that, S-A-N-N. I don't know. You thought about Spanish, your thoughts on Spanish water dogs. Do you know that they have webbed feet?
Spanish what?
Spanish water dogs.
I don't know what breed that is. I've never heard of it. I know about the Portuguese water dog, but I've heard that there are other breeds with web feet too. So, but I couldn't comment on them because I don't know about them.
Thank you, Henry. Like I said, your mom said, love your channel and everything about y'all. Keep being who you are. What do you think about Erwin, the dog messiah?
Thank you. I have no idea who that is.
And thank you, Michelle.
The dog messiah, though.
Is that Michael or is that Michelle? Michelle.
Michelle.
Okay. That's a cool last name too. It looks
Michelle.
like Cuddle, but it's Coddle, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Is one-on-one training with pit bulls a good idea when it comes to socializing them?
With mine, I always started them off really young, and at dog parks and stuff. I would always correct any kind of dominant behavior, any kind of biting at the neck, any kind of putting the head over the shoulder, any kind of fixation. I was always, very strict in riding them like a hawk, because you want to keep that at bay, because if they ever do that, it's very hard to bring them back from it. So it's important to never allow a behavior that you don't want to become a habit, because it's always harder to break a behavior once you've started it than to never have it at all.
Can they see that right there? Can they see Cashmere right there?
Mm-hmm. You letting her beg like that? I'm sure they can.
I told her to go away. Do you like Salukis?
Yes, I do.
Down in there.
I really like Salukis. I actually wanted one. I would love to have one, but at this point, I just haven't, had the opportunity to have one that I thought would mesh well. Cashmere, eat. Go. No.
You should love your mom just the way she looks. This person said, I want a mom that looks like Rachel. You should love your mom for just how she looks, and you should accept the way she looks. Just like I accept my mom.
Are the paper towels in here?
No. We should. Oh, let me get them. Thank you, Jinx, again. Will you be keeping any midnight pups or blondies? Have you found studs for your sister? Congrats on meeting today. For velocity. Thank you, Darrell. I think that's how you say that. He said, would you plan on transitioning? You just look at these because I can't even keep up with them. I'm mostly answering that.
Will you be keeping any of Midnight's pups or blondies? I'm most likely going to keep one of Midnight's puppies. Probably not two. I'll be observing two, keeping two as a prospect, but only keeping one. And I have found studs, or a stud for Blondie, and I'm still undecided on Midnight and Velocity.
Here you go, mate.
When do I plan on transitioning to full time with my breeding and training? Most likely in the next month or two.
You have a training tomorrow, right?
I do. I have a training tomorrow. Thank you. Oh wow. Updated, I paid it. Play with my food. Ashley Edcock. Let me see here. Aunt Me and your BFF. Okay. Bro.
Dude, I'm just trying to do my job over here. I should be paid money. Anyways,
So good.
can I live with you guys?
You better go down. You know better.
Really like living here.
Ow.
Not that it's bad or anything. It's just really stressful.
Go now. Are you serious, dude? What are you thinking?
Hey, where
You think I won't get up? Go now. Out. Sad face. Get. Nobody cares. No. Go. You're not begging. Go lay down.
Do I like growing up with this many dogs?
No. No, because I make her help and clean up after them and stuff like that. Do chores just like she would have to do in the old days if we lived on a farm. I think it's good for creating good ethics, but she doesn't like it. She'd much rather be sitting in front of the TV doing nothing.
All I can say is these dogs get stressful. Anyways,
It's true.
What's in that big box? So he said, "New TV?" Question mark. No.
It's a kennel.
It's a Kennel. We don't buy TVs like that. I mean, you almost do. That Black Friday.
We have a TV bigger than that.
I know. No, I'm just saying. Remember on Black Friday, I asked you what you bought because you were sitting on the couch. You're like, "I bought a new TV." I was like, "What?"
Such a mistake. I'm so glad Walmart didn't have it.
You're like, "I bought a TV." Just randomly in the morning. It had to have been when she just woke up. She was going through her phone, and I saw she was shopping. I was like, "What'd you buy?" And she was like, "I bought a new TV." And I was like, "What do you? There's no place for it." She said, "Oh, let's just put it in your room." I was like,
It was stupid. It was Black Friday, and it was a really good deal.
I was even thinking in my head, I was like, "What?"
Luckily, Walmart contacted me, and we were like, "We're sorry, we don't have any inventory." And I was like, "Yes, thank God." You get out.
It was like a TV bigger than that one back there too. I was like, Can you give us an update on Oso? We will.
They're doing good. I'll do an update.
Crime Cactus, we have done a video about littermate syndrome. She asked if you've ever dealt with it. No, wait, you have? Oh, never.
Well, I'm dealing with it right now. Blondie and Midnight. As they mature into going into heat, they are. You can tell that they're trying to decide. Like, I think in a pack, they don't all want each other to breed, if that makes sense, and so they kind of compete with each other on that. And I've been noticing a lot of competition from Blondie and Midnight, and they love each other. So it starts off with play, and then it gets rougher and rougher. And I have to really get onto them and make them calm down, because if I don't, then it gets to be loud. And if I just completely ignored it and laughed it off, they would eventually fight.
Oh yeah. Even Midnight's, yeah, like I said, Midnight's just been getting all snappy, and so is Blondie.
Yeah.
Are you going with the dogs, or are you guys going to go swimming with the dogs again?
Yeah, most definitely, always. That's the one thing I love more than anything, is spending time with my dogs. That'll never change.
But we have to be cautious about, whenever we do this. Like, first of all, she can't video whenever she's in the water, and neither of us feel comfortable having me on camera and just the babies and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's not good. I'm 13. That's not cool. Anyways, but full dog content. That's good. Let me see. Even humans will fight soft. Yeah. Bro.
Bro, how are you gonna complain and then not take my offerings? Hey, nobody said you could be in your gal right now. Go out, Casimir. Go on. You know better.
Do you vlog with a camera or a camera? Or phone or camera?
Phone typically, but I do have a camera. Woman, go on, go. She's so sad right now.
What are your hold on. How many coffees did you have in a day?
Coffee?
Yeah. Be honest, Mom. Today you've had 2.
2 to 3.
2 to 3?
I'll have 3 by the end of the day.
Yeah. She'll make me make them really late at night too.
Bro, I'll make you make them?
Excuse me.
Do you make me cook for you?
Yes. You specifically, she manipulated me into making her cookies by buying all this stuff for me to make her cookies a few days ago. And she made me, I always do, take out all the groceries and put them up. And I was like, I brought all the stuff out. I was like, "Are you giving me signs?" She's like, "Yeah, make me some cookies."
It was a joke. She made them.
It was a joke. It was a joke. Okay. I'll make more cookies tonight.
No, I wouldn't want to burden you.
No,
I wouldn't want you to feel like we're making you make cookies.
No, stop talking.
Oh, rude! Hold on now, you better watch yourself. Look at me. Watch yourself.
Okay.
I'll get you, girl. You think you're on a showboat?
Somebody actually donated $2. He said, "Make me a cup of coffee." Virtual cup of coffee coming through you. No, I'm making cookies before I make coffee.
No, you're not.
Yes,
I'm not waiting for that.
It doesn't take that long.
Yeah, we see who controls who around here.
Savannah,
You can't really play the victim when you go around telling me what to do, Savannah.
Savannah, your job should be to make copies. Yeah, Mom. It should be.
Yeah, you know what? I offered to pay her an allowance to behave herself, and she was like, "No, I politely declined. I'd rather be bad for free."
No, wait. I even did this for
Taking
markers.
back my catfish.
Markers that I got. I asked her if I made a certain amount of copies
The bad dog.
for her.
Go.
That if she would buy me markers,
Go.
and it worked.
Now. Midnight or Cashmere. Get on there, get here, dog.
Oh, baby girl. Oh, baby, so sweet. Oh, my baby.
She got a big old fat head on her, man. Big old fat head dog. What did you big old fat head? What did you big old fat head, Belladonna? Did you big old fat head? Did you do? Did you big old fat head? Yeah, you do. Did you good girl?
She's ready to. Oh, you know, baby. Dude, she's been getting an attitude recently. I am like, ouch. Oh, she's scratching me.
Snorting. Snorting. Mm-hmm.
Would you ever consider sharing your cooking with Corso recipes?
Sure. Yeah.
Look at her all comfortable. She was. Oh, will Corsos and Dane puppies get along well?
I would think so, yeah. Really? No. Go. Go. You can lick your lips all you want, but you're not getting them. Go on. You too. Go. Go.
Savannah, maybe consider your own channel. No, thank you. I don't have anything like, what would I do? I could do like a baking with Corsos, baking and stuff, but there's not enough to bake to make a channel off of it. What's your favorite food your mom makes? That's a hard question. I really like her steak because she knows the way I prefer it, which is bloody. So I won't eat a steak like often. Like I won't. I'll eat steak often, but it has to be really made by my mom because she makes it bloody, but cooked well. Because she gives it like a crust. It's got a crust to it. Anyways,
You like that better than my spaghetti?
Spaghetti. Spaghetti today. Does your mom like Rottweilers?
Yeah, I like the old-fashioned, the longer muzzle Rottweilers. You know,
13.
that's what I like.
413. No.
I don't like those weird pug face ones they got going on now.
No, Kevin didn't have an ultrasound.
No, we did not do an ultrasound. The only reason I wanted to do one was because I was psyching myself out thinking maybe she wasn't pregnant. And then by the time I came back, she had it was obvious she was pregnant. And I was like, all right. Because with an ultrasound, all they can do is confirm pregnancy. They cannot tell you how many are in there.
Yeah, no.
So it's really just a waste of money if you already know they're pregnant. The only other thing that you can do is x-rays, and I've done that twice now on each of her previous pregnancies. And what I found is that every time they counted 10 puppies, but we actually had 12. And so I realized that it's not consistent. Like it's not giving me an accurate reading. So therefore,
yeah, they're just like, oh, she'll probably have at least like 3 puppies.
Yeah, that's
like,
what they said with the ultrasound, which was like
and
annoying.
It's like, come on, you guys, really? Like,
so I figured why put her through all the stress of going up to the vet, being handled, going through an x-ray process if it's not even going to tell me what I need to know, which is how many puppies are in there. So I really felt like it just wasn't worth it in the long run. And I kind of already know like how many puppies she usually has. I know what signs to look for if there's an issue. So I think if there was a retained puppy, I would know. I'd be able to tell. So, that's where we're at on that.
Savannah, from your point of view, how's it been growing up around a pack of dogs? Well, I've almost all my life been raised around a pack of dogs. Not even just now in this age, but like whenever I was younger, you had all the pit bulls. You had at least like what, 12 pit bulls. I guess like I wouldn't.
Speak up a little bit, because AC.
Yeah.
Creatures.
I don't know really how to describe it. Just like if any like kids are watching or anything, just make sure, especially dealing with dogs like these and like pit bulls and stuff, that you at least like you don't have to be the alpha of the dogs, but you also can't let them be the alpha of you. Because I learned this from Preacher. They will push you around. And he hasn't bitten me or anything, but he'll let me know to back off, which he never does that with Mom. It's basically exactly what he would have done with any of the other dogs. He growls at them to let them know to go away. I don't really get scared of it, though. You can't be scared, because then they'll notice you're scared, and then they'll treat you worse. But it's been nice. Okay, I'm going to make this.
What?
Yeah.
What? Will we move it over here then? Do you want to help me move it over here then?
I'll move it. Cooking with Corso. Cookies with Corsos. Let me unplug it. Hold on. Especially since it's dark outside and there's not so much light coming in. I'm gonna move it.
How come Preacher never corrects Cashmere or Midnight/Blondie when they are all over him? He does.
He does. Not
does.
Cashmere, because Cashmere doesn't get all over him.
Yeah, I even have a video of him getting onto them. Back whenever they tried to get onto him for like cheating, he eventually got tired of it and gave him a mouthful.
Yeah.
So Blake, so we are gonna do, Cashmere's last litter, but it isn't gonna be now. We were gonna probably do her last litter in the spring of 2020, but we may do one breeding in the fall of 2020.
Did she just knock over the trash?
Can you get it?
Yeah. Should I put this where you can see what I'm doing, or should I do it where it's facing you?
I don't know. I thought we would do it where you could see what you're doing too.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I just want to ask.
I know, Connor. I forgot the recipe. I'm sorry. I will do it. I swear.
I was going to ask you about that today. I was like, bro, did you even?
Has the owner of Nico gotten the weight off of him? I personally don't know. I didn't get any kind of update on him.
You should sit right there so I can put it like right here. So you can at least see what I'm doing and what you're doing.
Let's see here. Are you where's the?
I'm gonna do.
Can you plug it in? Right. So there we go. Right?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Whose puppies am I most excited to see?
The big one.
Honestly, I don't know. There's really no telling. I mean, they're all gonna be really nice. They're for different reasons. So I don't know. It's hard. Let me see here. Thank you, Tara. What do I feed my dogs? Right now, I'm feeding them. The puppies are eating From, and the adult dogs are eating Munster.
Oh man, I totally forgot.
Let's see here.
I forgot to ask you to get Roger.
Dude, get out now. Go.
It's okay. I still have to.
Let me see here. I'm getting a Great Dane puppy and was wondering if he'll learn to be somewhat protective from my older Rotties. Yes. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to have the guts to like stand up to an actual intruder, but he should pick up on their barking and stuff. Preacher, out now. Go. Do my dogs sense the paranormal? My dogs have not experienced the paranormal.
Alex said Seneca has a.
Will you always breed Cashmere to Preacher or another male? Because I've got deposits on those litters, I can't do anything but that for now. But in the fall of 2020, I've got 2 new males that I should be bringing in. In fact, I've actually got a 3rd. So I may do her with one of those just to see what she throws. So that could be kind of cool. Thank you, Army. Let me see here. Terry Davis. Yeah, that's awesome. I saw that and I just had to share it. It was a video from a guy that does IPO showing how positive you can even, and I've shown this on video before, you can show a dog treats, and if it doesn't want to do it, it's not going to do it. You know what I mean? It's funny. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, Preacher does, like most mature men that live with women, they tend to learn that it's better to sometimes just, kind of let her have her way. Like, just, it's not worth, you have to choose your battles, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, women, even female dogs, are more emotional. They go through more hormonal changes. We are that way. Yeah, I can admit that.
Doesn't mean that you won't
it
get along with
helps when the male or a male in a relationship doesn't take everything so seriously all the time. You know what I mean? Or like I don't know. It's hard. It's a weird thing. But Preacher's that way. You know what I mean? He just doesn't take the women all that seriously unless it means something. He just doesn't. Otherwise, you just go crazy. So, let me see here. Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit is, that could be kind of cool. You could call him Biscuit. That'd be pretty funny.
I would name a fawn dog that.
Let me see. No, I do not sell breeding rights on my dogs. You have to earn it, and it's at my discretion. How do you correct a puppy that ignores a direction like sit or stay? You enforce it. So if I have a puppy next to me and I tell them to sit and they don't sit, then I put their butt down with my hand and I make them sit until they get the message. You do that enough times and they'll sit. Who's the most accomplished puppy from my litters so far? That would have to be, his name is Enzo. I think his registered name is Gianni. He's very well trained and he has already been health tested. His hips were like very good, very good. They're literally within 1 degree of the other one and very tight. So yeah, I would have to say he's definitely the most accomplished, for sure.
Wait, is he the one that look like a preacher?
Pardon?
Does he look like a preacher? Like
yes,
the
yes.
exact replica of him?
Yep.
He's actually the exact replica.
Do you think all your females will produce as many puppies as Cashmere? Possibly. I don't know. They may produce more, but I didn't take as many deposits on those litters just because I don't know how many they'll have, and I don't want to, sell more puppies than I have available. So on those future fall litters, we may have a lot of puppies available just because they have a lot of puppies. I just wanted to be conservative because I don't want to give people false hope, and it not work out. Oh, that's awesome. The low 863. I do try to interact with people in the comments section. Let's see here. Is it going to be a problem with Batista and Preacher as he gets older? I think that with anything like that, there's always the potential for a problem. We'll just address it, like for example, in order for there to be a problem, there is always going to be in a circumstance at which it escalates to that point. If you are watching your dogs and you're maintaining your authority in the pack, then you'll see what's going on and you can correct it before it escalates to that point. Having said that, during the breeding season, males get competitive for no reason. It's not even about, it's not for no reason, but they don't need a reason to want to go for each other the same way that they would if it was just normal pack stuff. So during breeding season, I don't keep my males together because it's just they're gonna attack each other. It's literally no different than male lions. Male lions will live together in the same pack, but when it comes to actually performing the duties, they will actually tear each other up pretty bad. making sure that the other one understands it's my turn. You know what I mean? They take turns. And so it's kind of the same way. I think that the dogs would literally like, you know, tear each other up pretty bad. So let's see here. How's Bear Cub doing? He's doing great as far as I know. I haven't heard anything.
Let's hope he's not back.
Let me see. Savannah Word. I know you don't breed for color, but so far, what Corso color is your favorite you've produced or want to? My favorite color so far is the black. Second to that would probably be the black brindle. I really like that. I have not produced it yet, but I do have one, Belladonna. And my, I would love to see a Formentino, but yeah, I just haven't produced it yet. So, but I do think it's very pretty. Let me see here. Thank you, Susan Jones. Hi there. I have a cat, no dogs. Don't plan on getting one, but I've learned so much from you. Love your dogs. I feel like I met you in your pack. Would feel like I was part of the family. Well, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. I do try to be that way. Let's see here. Buenas noches. That's good night, right? Yes. I saw the video of Bear Cub reacting to your voice and Preacher's bark. Oh, that's awesome. I got to check that out. That's very cool. I'm sure he knows me. They don't forget, man. Let me see. Yes, you guys are able to send fan art to the Senza Tempo email. Just make sure to put in the title fan art. I'm having problems with, like, I have to do something to be able to use the email thing. That the guy sent me back and he was like something about registering my domain with them or something. I don't know. I haven't. I've been too busy and I haven't had the opportunity to look. No. Let me see here. I know you don't breed for color. Oh no, already answered that. Midnight Liberty charge against each other. Do you think this could be a problem when Liberty grows up? With all of them, it is a potential problem. That's why it's very important to maintain healthy boundaries and levels of excitement during play. I've been really getting on to Blondie and Midnight recently over their escalated, wrestling. It's as they say when you're. It's like as a parent, it's like you can let your kids play for a while, but after they get to a certain age, you really do have to limit the physical wrestling because it's that whole thing of, well, it's all fun and games till someone gets hurt, and somebody's always going to get hurt.
Yeah, even little kids, they'll get hurt really easily. Yeah. Even if the kid doesn't hit them, they can be tackling each other on the couch, and one of them will tumble down and like break their head or something.
So, how much fluxation and jowl size is there between Preacher and Cashmere, or between Blondie and Velocity? Are smaller jowls more prominent in your lines? My dogs don't have a lot of heavy neo-mastiff blood in them, so I'm not going to have all the droopy jowl stuff that you see in a lot of the lines that do have that. Mine they tend to be tighter, and I like that in my dogs. So, yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, Maryland, in pit bulls, they call it Blue Fawn. In the Corso, they call it Formentino. What dogs in my pack are related? So Preacher is the father to Midnight and Blondie, and he is Velocity's uncle as well.
Did they say what dogs are related to each other? Can you say Cashmere's related?
Somehow, like in a way that I could not even begin to explain, Belladonna and Preacher and Velocity have shared ancestors closer in the line than most dogs, but not enough for it to really be for me to even be able to give you a relation. How can you stop toy aggression in an adult? Take away the toy, you can get on to them, but some dogs, you're just, the best thing you can do is just take away the toy. There's really no need for it.
Here, wait, I want to show them.
Any update on the kitten? Yes, he's gorgeous, very fuzzy, very cute.
This is a whole bar of butter, because that's how we roll in this house. I'm holding it like, hey, get down, no! And 3 cups of sugar. That's the first thing. Dude, I'm teaching them how to make it too,
She's showing me how. I didn't do that. Yeah. So, let me see. Which dogs am I going to title? Hopefully all of them, or at least most of them. I don't know that
I don't know that all of them, you know, like I probably won't title Velocity, even though she's a pretty dog. Like I don't think that she's like I don't think she's like show quality personally. While I do like her, I know I'm breeding her because of what I know is behind her lines, and she's a very good looking dog, but she's really not what they would look for in a show. Let's see here. Blake to Zenyatta. Yeah, she's awesome. She's a wonderful horse. I remember reading all that stuff about her and Rachel Alexandria. Everybody was very offended that people were saying that Zenyatta was the best racing mare ever, and that people were saying that it was Rachel Alexandria. All right, so let me see here. I love watching your videos, how you maintain your pack. Tell Savannah hi. That's my name as well. Savannah, say hi to Savannah.
Hey, Savannah.
Let me see here. I think Belladonna is going to be so much like Midnight growing up. Probably. Yeah, I would definitely agree. They're both a very serious kind of female.
So wait,
not as like Blondie's very happy. You know what I mean? Very happy dog.
You see a smile on her,
she's always smiling. She's kind of like joking. You know what I mean? Midnight is a bit more deeper, a bit more serious. You know what I mean? Like.
So she is really sweet.
She's very sweet, but she has a very like intense love.
She's
like
even
Blondie will just like kiss you all over, and she's super cute. And Midnight like wants to like lay on you and rub into you, and just like she's
all like Preacher. Preacher will do that.
Yeah, Preacher's that way too.
He randomly comes up on the couch.
Very
like,
intense
all
love.
Weight.
Yeah, it's super cute. Let me see here. Alana, not that I'm aware of, as far as anybody breeding my dogs without my permission. If they did, I have the right to confiscate the dog.
Getting the puppies, right?
Go. Let's see here. Yep, Zenyatta is one of my favorite racehorses. Me too. I love racehorses. I'm not gonna lie. I love your artwork. My wife watches religiously, so I'm here to see what all the fuss is about. Thank you. Hi from Tucson. Thank you, Jojo. Let me see here. Do you think Blondie is show quality? No, she's definitely not. Although, I mean, considering like considering what people do show, you know, that's kind of a weird question. Like, do I think that she's show quality? No. Does that mean that there aren't dogs that are even of lesser quality than her out there showing and even winning? No, it doesn't mean that either. I personally wouldn't do it because I personally don't think that she is my definition of what an ideal Corso should look like.
What about Cashmere?
Even having said that, her muzzle has really developed a lot better than it was previously. Let me see here. This question is for Savannah. Has she been noticed more, particularly from young men, now that she's YouTube famous? No. The amazing thing about my channel, and I have to say that I love this, is that I don't get recognized unless I have one of my dogs with me. Nobody, what?
Never mind. Okay. Just annoying.
Our import peed on our floor.
Everywhere.
He's not potty trained yet. We've been trying. We've been working on it, but he's just not.
I didn't let him outside earlier. He peed out there.
Yeah, we just let him out on the live stream, but yeah, I'm gonna have to literally like kennel him.
Yeah. He knew he wasn't supposed to do it. That's when he walked around.
We bought a new rug doctor.
Yeah.
It's one of the sucky things about having dogs inside that were kept outside. The breeder I bought him from keeps them outside.
Not that that's really a problem out there, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's the allowed number of dogs you're allowed to have on your property? I don't have one. I don't know why people are asking that anyway. Like, are you trying to get me in trouble or something? I don't have one. That's why I moved here. Let's see here. Let me see here. I think Bella Dogs turned out the best. I agree. I mean, I don't know that I completely agree with that, but I do think she's going to be a very stunning dog, Terry. I do.
I got most of it.
So
I'll get the rest of it later whenever we're on live stream.
yeah, put him in a kennel so he doesn't do that anymore. We just need to go back to kennel time with him. Have I heard of 12 Titans kennels? Yes, I have. I almost bought a dog from them, but I don't think the litter worked out or something. It didn't happen. Let's see here. Wendy is beautiful.
She is, you're right.
Telluride. Can there be 2 alpha females?
No.
Not really.
Oh.
I prefer male dogs over female dogs because they listen better. Paulette, do you think it's okay to smack a puppy in the face as a correction or any type of physical correction? I don't understand.
What do you mean by in the face? Because there's a difference between popping a dog on the muzzle and smacking a dog across the face. Do not knock a puppy in the head.
Yeah.
You'll mess him up in the head.
I think that really has to do with like what your perception of it is. Like, for example, if a puppy tries to bite me and I pop him on the nose, I don't see that that's the difference as somebody who grabs their dog and hits it across the face or something. So we would never advocate abuse. And I think that like anything in life that there's, the context matters. So
this is vanilla and eggs mixed into the 2 cups of sugar and 1 bar of butter.
Never smack a dog. That's right. Don't ever smack a dog.
You can pop them on the nose.
Let me see here.
You go and you pop them on the nose. You don't smack a dog ever. Don't ever.
This is Cashmere's 3rd litter. Let me see.
4 cups of flour.
She's making cookies. My question is, how do you or how would you correct another family member's dog? Well, it depends. I may not correct a family member's dog.
I've
to be
had to
honest
correct
with
a
you.
family member's dog. I've had to.
Without them getting upset about it, that's what I'm saying. Is I probably wouldn't, because people do get upset. They usually always get upset.
Callie did get upset at me whenever I tried to correct her dog, but I had to because he tried to bite me. So.
Let me see here. Have I heard of Maximo's Kennel in California? Yes, I have. I want to say that Cashmere has some of their lines in her pedigree somewhere. Do you believe some people's personalities just aren't suited for the Corso? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Definitely. Yes, I am going to live stream Cashmere's birth.
Could be a long one.
Let's see here. Let me see here. Besides you, what are some good breeders you know? There's lots of them. A ton of great breeders out there. I would say Valencia is a really good one. Cape Fear is a really good one. Scandifio is a really good one. Dark Horse is a really good one. I mean, there's a bunch of really good breeders out there. You know what I mean? Really, there are a lot of them here in America. You just have to kind of look at their lines and take a look and see, are they breeding dogs that look like dogs that are in the are in the pedigrees, or do they look like something like another breed? If you have to think about it, stay away from them. Let's see here. Regarding temperament, which dog in your pack would you consider spot on and the best representation?
For temperament, they said? Blondie, no, maybe not. I mean, she's just really sweet. I'm saying that for a person who can't handle a tough dog.
That's not the question.
They said temperament.
No, the question is spot on in the best representation. I would say Preacher.
Well, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
Preacher.
representation. I thought they
Preacher's got the best. I mean,
temperament.
yes, we are making gluten-free cookies. I would definitely say Preacher has the most correct temperament, in my opinion.
The only thing that makes this gluten-free is this. You can make the same thing I'm making right now, just not with this. It's right there. Right there. It's good stuff, man. It's normal.
If I could go back in time with the knowledge I have today and choose to breed Cane Corso all over again, is there another breed you would rather breed? So that's a tough question because I love the breed, but it's full of a lot of people that I don't like. A lot of people I do like, but it's also full of a lot of people I don't. And really cool. There are other breeds that are more rare, that don't have a presence here, where you could kind of like breed and have a more kind of peaceful experience, but that would only be for a matter of time until more people got into it, because that's just the nature of people, groups of people. So I do love this breed very much. It is the perfect dog for me. And I don't, you know, there's just not another breed that I think I like enough to, you know, to breed. There's, you know, I really.
You guys get out of there. What are you doing?
I would love to breed like the Caucasian, what is it, Caucasian Oberchaka, something like that. I probably mispronounced that, but I do really like them. They're not as common at all. It feels like I could maybe breed them and have a little bit more of a, it's just not a tarnished breed. You know, it's like that it is what it is. There's not a bunch of people breeding dogs that don't look like that, you know, or that they're mixing them or whatever. You know what I mean? There's just not controversy. So that's nice. In this breed, there's a lot of controversy. It feels a lot like how it felt whenever I was breeding pit bulls, and you have all these people with bully dogs, and they're swearing to everybody up and down that they're breeding real pit bulls, when everybody can look at them and be like, that's not a pit bull, that's a bully dog. And finally, they got their own registry, and now they're bully dogs, but it's just frustrating. You know what I mean? It's very frustrating. And so, yeah. So, all right, my partner has celiac, so I'm excited to learn what you that you guys are gluten-free, but also not, because I know how much of a struggle it is to avoid gluten cross-contamination with celiac. Yeah, it sucks.
You just have to be very specific about it.
I will say that, like, if you, the food that you buy in a store is a very poor representation of how good gluten-free food can be. There are gluten-free flours that literally, like, if I was to give you a regular cookie and then one of Savannah's gluten-free cookies, you would not be able to tell the difference. There's no difference in texture. There's no difference in flavor. It's just as soft. They don't dry out. It's not full of corn or rice. Like, there is some rice, I think, but there's try to avoid any kind of gluten-free food that has corn in it.
Or like beans.
The beans can be okay.
There was like a bean, the
garbanzo bean.
Garbanzo bean,
yeah.
That was disgusting. I tried to make cookies with that. It was like, ew.
Yeah, but that's a really good flour. You just have to do your research. Let me see. Thank you, Blake Warner. Doesn't hurt if he like Oso is if it was Oso, I could understand it, because he will try to snap at people pretty quickly. He's done it to me. If I always say this, if a dog tries to bite you, you have the right to defend yourself. It doesn't mean you need to like clobber them, But you do have the right to defend yourself. So I'm not going to sit there and get onto somebody for getting onto a puppy that tried to bite them. I would have to see the video in question. But what I can tell you is that the family that has Oso is from my understanding, a very good family, very nice people. So I don't know. I'd have a hard time believing that they're abusing the dog.
This is the less stickiest, or this is like the least.
You better watch out. That dog's going to eat it.
He's like,
Liberty's potential as a show dog and a breeding dog, very good. She's growing right now. She's getting taller. So she's going through stages where she lengthens out and then sometimes she gets a little square. So, you know, from what I've seen from her puppy pictures, she should be at a good length and be a very good quality dog, breeding and show.
no. Richard, no. He just tried to lick the dough.
I told you, you better get him out of the kitchen. You run him off.
Richard, get out of the kitchen now. Out. You bad dog, already fed you.
So what is my thought on Akana foods given its relation to dilated cardiomyopathy, taurine deficiency? I don't know right now. I don't know what's going on with all the foods right now. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a crazy thing out there is all I can say. Go out and come back if it's still frozen.
What, it's frozen?
Let me see. It's working back on. Thought it was just me. Is Batista a show dog? He should be. Liberty has something in her mouth.
She does.
She's chewing she's grabbing the things off my couch.
I don't know. I think she has a sock.
How come other breeders don't come on YouTube? Because I think that a lot of breeders don't come on because they're not as transparent and I think that a lot goes on that they don't want people knowing about. So why would they? You know what I mean? Like it's just, yeah. So Liberty, get it out of your mouth now. Stop. Tell her no.
Bad dog. Ran off.
Just pick it up. Yeah. Let me see here. I also think that a lot of breeders don't come on because, you know, there's a big disconnect between like what a breeder's responsibilities are and what their life is like versus a person who has a pet. And I think that I go out of my way to explain things to people so that they'll understand it. And not everybody does that or can do that. So, and I mean, there's just people that keep their dogs all kinds of ways. Like, what are you going to do? Like, go out and film your dogs in a cage, you know, like every day? Like, okay, well, so-and-so's in their kennel today. Like, people would get emotional. People would be like, your dogs just live in kennels. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not, I do things differently here. Even in a way that even other breeders criticize me.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
So, it's kind of a little on the unique side.
Oh.
Let me see here.
Also, big thank you to everybody for us recently hitting 61K. It's pretty crazy.
Will you let Preacher breed with a wolf dog? No.
No.
Muhammad, good to see you. Yes, Breen, people are judgy.
Very.
All right. Have you ever seen the video called Spoiled Great Dane Throws a Hissy Fit? No, I have not.
Sounds dumb. Don't let your dog throw a hissy fit.
You're welcome, Muhammad.
We need more.
Rachel, do you think it's deplorable or good if show dogs were to be mixed and recreated to be healthier and work better? I think it would be good. I think that if, like, for example, let's just say hypothetically that there were no other German Shepherds in the world other than the ones that have the slope back and the horrible hocks and just all that, right? Horrible dogs.
Okay, it'll be like
if that's all there was, then we know that early on Shepherds were infused with wolf blood, and I would say bring some back in. You know, if that's what you have to do to fix the structure on those dogs, then that's what you're going to need to do. If not, you know, maybe we wouldn't go so far as wolf. Maybe we would mix in Belgian Malinois, you know, something else that's closer to help fix the structure of the dogs. Because, you know, there's just, if you have to, right? It's just, you have to. You know, the only time that I'm not in favor of mixing is when it's done for purely aesthetic reasons and people aren't honest about it. Like, I'll give you an example. There's a guy here in Texas that breeds black boxers. Now, everybody pretty much knows that black boxers are not a real thing. It's pretty obvious that he probably mixed in some Corso in there at one point. But his dogs look healthier than most boxers I've ever seen, both in their head type and in their body type. So how could I fault him for it? He's breeding a better version. So it's hard to be angry at somebody who's improving a breed. I just wish that people were honest about it. I wish that people had the guts to just say what they were doing. That way, people understood. When you do it behind the scenes and you're not honest about what you're doing, it leads people to believe that you can correct a breed without doing that. And you really probably can't, you know, unless somebody's got some storage of like pre-show boxers that nobody knows about, you know. It's just,
I'm not making sugar cookies. I'm making chocolate
it's
chips.
just, you got to do what you got to do.
Chocolate chip.
Thank you, Kaylin. Yeah, you know, the betterment of the breed should be more important. Just honesty. That's what I just say. Honest. Be honest about it. Like, there's a breeder of English Mastiffs that started breeding Greyhound in because of the structure on the Mastiffs was so bad. And they knew that the early dogs actually were a lot more functional. And so they're honest about what they're doing, and they're not getting the hate that I'm sure that people think they would get if they were just honest about it. I mean, you always get hate from people like the diehards, you know what I mean? There's always people that resist change, but you literally have to ignore them and know that what you're doing is right, you know? Let me see here. I would not sell a puppy to a first-time dog owner, but if a person had enough of the energy and enough knowledge of like training methods and of personality and temperament, I have actually sold my puppies to people that are new to the breed itself, but not new to dogs themselves. That's just too much. Let me see here. No, Cashmere Stomach will not stay the way it is for now. I'm going to see a breeder tomorrow to observe the adult dogs to see how their character is. What do I look for in a Cane Corso? You want to make sure that they're not like scared of you, that they don't like, you know, there's a difference between like keeping their distance from you and kind of watching you and actually being scared of you and avoiding you, you know?
That's a bad temperament.
Yeah, like you don't want to ever choose off of what we call like skittish kind of dogs. You don't want to, that's a bad issue in the breed. You want to avoid that at all costs. If they're friendly, like my dogs are friendly. They will love on you and all that kind of stuff. Not too friendly. If I let you in, you know, you're good. I let you in. You know, it should be that way. If they're not that way, I mean, it does depend. You know what I'm saying? Like some people don't really. No. Come on now. That's not okay. No. Those are way too big. No. And they're going to melt into each other. Dude, come on now. Okay, what's the difference between Kangal, Central Asian Shepherd, Anatolian Shepherd? A lot of that has to do with region. As far as I know, genetically they are all related, but they've just, you know, the different regions have been breeding them, and so I believe that they look differently. But yeah, I mean, a lot of them you could hardly even tell the difference in them. So let me see here. Why don't I have gray? I do have gray. Cashmere's gray.
She's blue.
She's just not solid.
We call it blue in this house, all right? All right.
Am I familiar with any Cane Corso breeders in Canada? Not at this time, not by name, no. Let me see here. What would you do to fix the English Bulldog?
How about that?
So, nice. So they, they're already trying to fix that breed. It's already was kind of fixed, and then more people started breeding them to be the way that they were. So the old English Bulldog is the supposed to be corrected version of the English Bulldog. But now what you get are people that are breeding them to have the English Bulldog head with a pit bull body. They're forgetting that they're supposed to be length to the muzzle, and that you're supposed to be fixing the head, and they're not again. They're making them too wide again. Like they're making them. They're basically breeding bully-like features into those dogs and ruining that breed all over again. It's pretty bad. Let me see here. Which parent's temperament do you pay attention to more when picking a breeder? I pay attention to both of the temperament. They both matter. Let me see. It really doesn't matter if you have a house or an apartment, so long as you get them out to be exercised.
Another batch.
Let me see. No, I did not meet Batista before getting him. Was very lucky that he has a good temperament, especially for being kept outside in a kennel or in a enclosed area the way that he was. Let's see here. So would I crossbreed creature? I thought about that. I wanted to possibly do an allot breeding, with a greyhound, but finding a good greyhound is very hard. I even looked. I really hadn't found any that I would like. So yeah. I will say that there are some people breeding some recreated Neapolitan Mastiffs that I really like, that don't look anything like what most people think of as a Neapolitan Mastiff. Those are really pretty, but they're not like what you would think when I say something like that. They're very, very very cool looking dogs. But if any of you are familiar with country dog photography, and the dog, what is his name? I can't remember his name now. He's a red dog. Anyway. All right, so let's see here. Well, that would be awesome, Gerald. I would love that.
What?
I know. I never thought about asking people for help. It's. I don't know. I've always had a hard time asking for help.
It really does. Even if we're
Dylan would. Thank you. I appreciate it.
My whole thing is we'll be at a grocery store and she'll be searching for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something for something. I'll just be like, let's just go ask somebody. And she's like, no, we are not going to ask somebody for help. I was like, why? And then eventually she does, because she seriously can't find it. She has a very hard time. You're very stubborn, Mom. I can be too. Sometimes. Come on.
It was Bear Cub, not Oso. I'll take a look and see. Do you think, Rachel, just like the anti-breed movement, more large working breeds will continue to be banned or turned into bully breeds? I think that over time, people are going to keep breeding them to look like bully breeds. They're going to keep breeding for looks, because that's what That's what people in America do. We breed for look. Kind of like the people that were insulting my weight. It's like, it's not enough that I'm a good person or that I'm honest or that I try to help people or any of that kind of stuff. The fact that I don't look the way that they want me to look, you know, isn't enough for them. And that's kind of how we are as a society, unfortunately, is we're all about looks. It doesn't matter what kind of substance you have. And that's how those dogs are. You know, they look awesome. You know, they look so cool, so pretty. And that's all people care about. So,
it's all they care about.
You know, like me, I would much rather have a functional dog. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Let me see here. My friend flew in a boxer puppy without meeting it or its parents, and let's just say that they don't have that puppy anymore. Yeah, it can happen. Did someone who bought a pit from you ever buy a Corso from me? No, not yet. I have had one guy who still has one of my last puppies that I sold. He wanted one, but he hasn't gotten one yet. But, you know, it was a long time ago. So, would you ever get another dog from Batista's breeder, or does the fact that he lived outside bother you? I would definitely get another dog from that breeder. Having said that, the breeder that I bought Batista from is she works with another guy. They're very high volume breeders, right? So they show a lot of dogs. They do a lot with their dogs. They title other dogs. Very professional in that way. But they have a lot of dogs, and they work with a lot of lines. And the Cane Corso breed is a pretty small breed compared to most, and they're very, very connected as far as breeding is concerned. And so she deals with pretty much everybody's lines, and so because of that, she has produced some puppies that have had epilepsy. At least that's what people have told me. And I've seen, you know, there's only one lady that I really felt was legitimate. She did reach out to me and tell me that, but the bloodlines were not the same bloodlines as my puppy. And that's the thing, is when you're dealing with a breeder that is as big as her and it deals with as many lines as she does, you can't just say, well, that breeder produces this issue. You need to know what lines you're talking about. Right? You can't just say, because this breeder produced a sick puppy, that all their puppies are sick. It's just, if you have as many puppies as she does and her partner does, and you deal with as many people's lines as they do, then the odds are you're going to produce a puppy that isn't ideal every now and again. It's not the end of the world. It's just something to keep in mind. You know, even I could do it. I'm not responsible for the lines that I bring in. I didn't breed these dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just as much of a victim as anyone else is. All we can do is try our best, try to breed good dogs. When you see a sick dog, when you produce a sick dog, pay attention. You cut it out of your lines. No big deal. So, you know, I had a lot of people comment on that and about my pup that I got from her. But what's funny is nobody commented on Liberty, and Liberty has some of the same lines. So not same lines, but comes from the same breeder. Her father does. So it's not about, you know, breeder. It's about bloodlines. And even then, like, for example, oftentimes when you hear about epilepsy, it's out of a dog that's been bred like more than any dog. And there's no one ever talking about the rate of mutation. You know, very few animals get to reproduce as many times naturally as a dog does. People don't get to very few things. In the cases of mass reproduction, like fish, for example, you see more mutation because that's the natural rate of mutation. So, you know, it's just the way it is. But, you know, I want to address that. I know a lot of people thought I was avoiding it, and I figured I might as well talk about it now since somebody brought up that breeder. So I have every faith that if that breeder thought that she was producing it, she would cut it out of her lines. I don't. She knows who I am. She knows the kind of following I have. She would not send me a sick puppy that's going to break down on my channel for everybody to see. Because Lord knows I would be honest about it. Okay? You all know that. I would be honest about it.
Lord knows it.
That's right.
I'm so jealous of those cookies. Better be.
They are very good. They are very good.
Thank you, Angel Jones. Love you guys and all of your videos.
Thank you very much.
These are your motivations. Would you a line breed preacher in midnight? Personally, I don't have an issue. Not that close.
No, there's no need to go that close. I know a lot of people do. I'm not going to hate on anyone who does breedings like that. Even Velocity is a pretty tight breeding, but not that tight. Velocity is a half brother and a half sister breeding together. They have the same father. That's as close as I'll go. Even then, you only want to do it one time, and then you want to jump back out. For example, the dog I was just talking about, the woman that contacted me who said that her dog had epilepsy, that litter was heavily line bred. You can expect issues like that out of lines that are that line bred. You have to be careful. I mean, all you need to do is look at the Egyptians or any other failed monarchy that failed because of inbreeding to know that if you do it too much, you're going to have problems. That should be common sense.
Have you thought about getting a dog food sponsorship, or is it hard getting the entire pack to eat the same brand of dog food? We don't have the whole pack.
I haven't asked for anything like that. I know a lot of people tell me that I should, but like I said,
even I told her today.
I wouldn't mind somebody coming to me and saying, hey, we would like to do that. It's harder for me to come to people and say, hey, I've got this, all this following, what's up with, getting some free dog food?
Yeah, I've heard about YouTubers.
It's just not in my nature to ask for that kind of stuff. Like, I wouldn't want for somebody else to be able to say, and I've seen it before, of people getting exposed for asking for free stuff, like trying to use their weight like that. Like, I think who was it that Graveyard Girl got mad because she had to start paying for Starbucks. You remember that?
Oh, she did, yeah.
Like, I've had to work for everything I've got. I'm used to it. I don't have a problem with it. You know what I mean? It's easier. I just prefer it that way. It's easier. I like easy. I don't mind it.
I was watching a YouTuber and she reviews clothes, and she even said on camera, she said, I contacted these people because I can't afford it, and asked them if I could sponsor them, if I could buy some, or if I could get some, if they could send me some stuff and I could review it for them on the channel.
Like, even like this other guy, I won't say his name because I actually really like his channel, but he asked people to donate a plane ticket so that he could go and pick up his puppy. And I remembered being like, ooh, like, dude, like, I know how much money you're making. You have way more subscribers than me, like, way more views, and you're out here asking for people to donate you a plane ticket. Like, bro, come on now. Like, you can afford that.
What do you think, Rachel, of possibly getting a recipe book out there? I would be putting a recipe book.
Look at that. Little Miss Sassafras. I wish you'd do that when it came to disciplining the dogs. Dang. I don't know that we're good enough cooks for that, but I guess if you want it, I don't mind.
They said that they want one with dog pictures in it.
There you go. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, we could do that.
I do the recipes, you do the pictures of the dog.
No. No.
You realize I was living with a squirrel.
You get out. Nobody's talking to you.
Savannah, do you want to be a chef?
She wants to be a pastry chef.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Go on.
Do you need to give a kind of Corso puppy supplies for their bones?
No. No. If you're feeding the right dog food, I mean, you can do something like New Vet. That's kind of cool. Those are good vitamins. We used to give Preacher those.
Gerald or whatever. I will be going to public school for high school.
Yeah.
And what are my thoughts on it? I don't know.
We addressed that in an earlier live stream video that before we got really big. Savannah was in public school, and she had some problems, and I had to pull her out because she was having issues with making the right friends, and there were some really bad kids in school. And when I went to the school, I even had to involve a police officer. The school basically let us know that there was nothing that they could do. The school was too big and they were not responsible for the students. And so I pulled her out because if they're not going to keep her safe and she's not learning anything anyway, then I might as well just take care of her myself. And so we use a online, like it's a high school degree. You know, you're getting your high school diploma, but it's online. And now that we've moved out to the country, I'm hoping that she will make better choices. So ideally, that's what will happen. But there was, we had a pretty scary moment for a while.
I am looking forward to
of her choosing making some bad choices.
Mm-hmm. Cookies are ready.
Okay. Whoa. Am I familiar with San Rocco? No, not personally.
Ooh, they look good. I don't know. Should those cook longer?
What's up?
Should those cook longer? Do they not look like? Do they not look golden?
I would do a little bit, but not by much. Like I would watch it. Yeah. It's probably because you have 2 trays in there.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see here. Thank you, Shamar.
Preacher, shut up.
Here. Please look out for my application for a pup for Midnight's First Litter. Thanks for the content. I support you. Thank you very much. Make sure to give us a call after you put in your application so we can go over it together.
Yeah, I'll do 2 minutes.
Let me see here. Share some funny, crazy encounters you've had, like the one where you hosed down your neighbor. Can you think of any? Yes, I'm still enjoying the Kia, by the way.
I'm trying to think of something that you've done that was funny. Could it be any story or does it have to do with dogs? Because, I mean, there's a lot of funny stories about stuff, I suppose. I don't know. What do you want? Any story. Mama, you want a story time video? You want to do a story time?
Well, what are we gonna?
People just said they want a story. They just want a story. Tell them a story about.
Any story. Which one do you think is a good one?
What do y'all want to hear about?
Is there any funny ones about Preacher?
Did y'all tell them about how Alex ran in the room and Preacher went charging after him?
Okay, yeah. So when Preacher was a puppy, he was about 6 months old. I was upstairs in the bed watching Netflix or whatever, and Alex was coming home late from catering. He had a catering job back then. And it's a dreamer. I love that. She's like, I killed him. I love it. So anyway, so Alex thought he was gonna like freak him out. So he came. We lived in a 2-story house at the time. So he came running up the stairs doing that stomp, 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 stomp thing. And Preacher started going crazy, barking, going crazy. And Alex thought maybe he would freak him out he's the king, even on a normal day, he's the king of like doing the turn and swoop. You know what I'm saying? Where you turn it and you just swoop the door open real quick. He's the king of that. And so he did that, tried to barge in and tried to freak Preacher out, you know what I mean? Tried to scare him off. And Preacher just charged at the door. And he had like just that much room to get it shut before Preacher got to the door. Also, it was pretty funny. We were laughing it off. He was like, no, it's okay, no.
Another thing to do.
Yeah, he's not. You don't want to do that to him, and they do not play.
Somebody asked us earlier if our dogs had ever like experienced anything paranormal or anything. I think the closest we've gotten to that is.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Is me and my mom were upstairs, along with all of the dogs and the cat. There was nobody else home, and we were sitting on the bed, and out of nowhere you hear. That's kind of not running down the stairs or up. And all the dogs went off. So I opened the door to look down to see if anybody was there. But of course, I let Preacher go first because that's how that works. And we didn't find anything. So I'd say that's the closest.
Do I have any paranormal stories?
Yeah, you do.
I do. It's kind of long.
That's okay.
But I do actually. This story actually helped me find my faith back in God. Whenever I had lost it for a while, living with a very intelligent and very respectful and nice guy. But he was an atheist, and I lost my faith for a little bit before I realized that nobody knows what they don't know until they know. You can't know till you know. And so
kind of goes along with that. You have to see it to.
Yeah. So this is way back before I had any kids. I moved into this almost abandoned apartment complex. Like, it was literally run down. Like, the city ended up condemning the place, but it was just one of those places where it was just privately owned and nobody reported how bad the place was. So it was just kind of allowed to be that bad. And the landlord told me that I could get like a free month's rent or whatever if I cleaned out this one apartment. I was living in an upstairs one, and this one was like downstairs in a courtyard. And the guy had been arrested for, I believe, like child stuff, like bad stuff. So I went down there to clean it out, and it was all Satanist stuff. Which honestly, I didn't really put much stock into at the time. Like, I never considered that to in any way be valid. I always figured that it was just, whatever. Just like, I just didn't I didn't have any kind of feelings on it one way or the other as far as that. So I cleaned it all out. And I will say that as I was cleaning it, I felt like I was being watched, but the building was such that there was a courtyard. So it didn't, I was like, well, there's probably somebody in an apartment somewhere actually watching me clean this out, right? So I just, whatever, blew it off. I lived with a guy named Shane. He was my boyfriend at the time, and he experienced this with me. I even have like messages from him. Like, if I really, this genuinely happened. You don't have to believe me, but this genuinely happened. But I will say that I probably wouldn't have believed somebody who had told me this. So long story short, we've been living there for a while, and we had some friends over, and they had left, and my boyfriend Shane was sitting in front of the TV playing PlayStation. And I felt like somebody was staring at me. So I turned around and I looked, because because we had company over. And so in my mind, it still clicked that maybe there was somebody still there. And I looked over and there was no one there. But everything in my body was telling me that not only was somebody there, they were right here in my face. To the point that, like, I moved slowly to turn my head. Like, I was like afraid to like turn my head, that kind of thing. And it's hard to explain, but it felt like somebody was in my face smiling, like a huge grin on their face. And so hold on, Caitlin, I'll get to your question in a second. So I turned my head and I waited for a second, trying to analyze what was happening. And then I told Shane, I said, I thought that there was somebody beside me, or looking at me, and I thought there was somebody there, but then I looked and there was no one there, but it felt like somebody was there. And then I said, Shane, I'm scared. And the moment I said I'm scared, it felt like something like jumped through me, if that makes sense. People are gonna think I'm nuts. The way it felt was like the worst possible fear you've ever felt in a split second, combined with the feeling you get whenever you are trying to go to sleep and you feel like you're falling and you wake up, that feeling. It was like that together. You immediately, tears start streaming, your face goes to a frown, your heart starts beating like crazy. That's when people say you could be scared to death by a ghost, that's why they say that. Like, it's a genuine feeling. And then it got Shane, and he jumped up quick and was like, what was that? What was that? And bloodshot eyes, because it has something, it does something to you. And we ended up leaving the house that night. I called my mom at like 3 a.m. She accused me of being on something. I was like, no, I swear to God, I'm not on anything. And she was like the kind of person that like at one point was like Wiccan or something, and she had told me about some stuff like that. And basically she was like this. She was like, okay, she's like, well, nothing can have power over you unless you give it permission. And so she said, don't fear it. So we came back to the house. It was still weird. Like I'm so hard saying this stuff to you guys because it's like people are gonna think I'm crazy, but whatever. And it was like there's some truth when people tell you like your mind's like your middle eye or whatever the heck they call it. Like you can sense this thing, whatever it is. Your body knows what it is. You're designed to be able to see it and handle it and everything. And it was like going around the roof of the place. And it never hurt me again, but what I can say is it came over. You could tell where it was because wherever it was, that side of your body, the hair would raise up, right? You could feel it. And my cat, I had this cat named Schism. I named him after a Tool song. He came and ran over and jumped on top of my seat and actually hissed and pawed at the air where it was. It moved away from me. So whatever the Egyptians or whoever it was that said that cats can interact with things like that, they can. And it's why I always keep a cat in the house. There's something to having a cat in the house. So I don't know what it was. I don't try to define what it was because I don't know. What I can say is it didn't seem like a person. It didn't seem like anything that had any kind of thinking mind other than it enjoyed scaring the crap out of people and almost feeding on people's fear. So that's my paranormal experience. It's the only one I've ever had. It was a crazy experience. I don't expect you to believe me. I wouldn't have believed me, but I will tell you that once you have that experience, you will then know that there are things beyond our knowledge that exist in this world with us. And I don't know if it was I don't know what it was. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I do know that having never believed in anything like that and then experiencing that, there's no way that I could go around saying there's no God just because I, hadn't experienced a very personal thing in this upfront saying thing like that. As many of you know, I am Christian. I do believe in God, but that's because I have my own experiences.
And this goes to that. You don't believe that these are dead people.
Yeah, I don't believe they're ghosts. I don't think they're ghosts. Like that's not what I.
Like demons or something.
Yeah, that's like, not what I thought. That's not the impression that I got. But having said that, you only know if you experienced it, you experienced it. But I don't judge anyone for not believing me. Like it's like whatever. But I'm telling you the God's honest truth. So
I saw a video of these kids playing around
with
a
it's
Ouija
just
board.
yeah.
Of them playing around with a Ouija board, and then they looked through the thing, and the kid that looked through it immediately started pouring tears and crying.
Yeah, but it will make you cry. It's very weird. Did you watch Sabrina, Umbrella Academy, and The Order on Netflix?
I watched Sabrina. She didn't like it.
Sabrina's coming back. Mm-mm.
You didn't. She did not. I
have no time for any of that.
Sabrina was the one where remember she
I didn't like the Sabrina one because it was so different from the original. When I watched it, it was a comedy. Thank you, Rahul. Okay. All right.
They're all snoring so much. I wonder if you can hear the ceremony of snores in the background.
That's awesome, Linda. My mom did not care. We did sage the house, but it didn't make it go away like people would say. We always heard little things.
How's it going?
It was very good. All right, so
here, I'll show you guys the inside of the cookie.
Thank you, Steesley. Have I ever dated a cancer man? No, not that I'm aware of.
Let me see.
She's not really into that. It's not that she's not into that stuff, but she doesn't base or date somebody based off of their zodiac sign or anything, and she doesn't base how people act off of their zodiac sign.
Yeah, Frank, I'm telling you, if you live in an old house, the odds are that is haunted. I have a theory on it, but I do think that there's something about houses that have been abandoned for any amount of time. I do think there's something to that.
Churches and all that, anything that's been abandoned, really. Even the Alamo. My mom did not like the feeling she got in the Alamo. Remember, Mama, tell him.
What?
The Alamo?
Yeah, the Alamo. Ooh, I got a weird feeling at the Alamo. Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah. And it's known for being haunted. I saw something on it. Don't you remember?
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense, you know. It technically is an abandoned place. Yes, a lot of people collect there, but it's an abandoned place. Lots of kids will go into abandoned houses and
That's true, Susan. I would agree with you. You do have the power to deal with it on your own, but I just like having a cat around for that. I think they will let you know, like,
where it is.
And it was nothing for that cat. I'm telling you, he hissed at that thing like he had ownership over it. Like, not ownership, but like he could tell it what to do.
Another experience with a cat.
And I put that on I put that on everything. My dogs, my everything. I swear on everything in my life, that cat ran that thing off. I was shocked. I love that cat more than anything.
I wouldn't say that this was too.
That's right. Not today, Satan.
I had an experience with Mama Cat. Y'all don't know who she is, but she's an old cat of ours. And I fell asleep on the couch. And I was laying flat right here, and she was laying on my chest. She was usually an outside cat. And I was laying down flat. And I woke up, and I was going through sleep paralysis. So I couldn't move or anything. And I didn't have my eyes open. I could just hear. And I could hear Mama Cat, the cat that was on me, hissing and screeching. And, like, something was going on around me. And she was screeching and hissing. Basically, if you were to hear a cat fight, that's what it sounded like. And then eventually I woke up and she was still right there just looking up towards what was going on. And people talk about how sleep paralysis had a lot to do with demons and stuff. You hear me, Mama?
What?
About what I just said? About my sleep paralysis and the cat that was hissing and like making a fit. Mama Cat, she was laying on me. Seriously, she sounded like she was going to have a cat fight. I couldn't see anything because my eyes were closed. But she was making a lot of noise. And I mean, she was very loving. You know, she wasn't attacking me. I was in no pain. She was attacking something. I could hear it, but I couldn't see anything, which sucks because if I could have seen what it was on. And that was my only experience with sleep paralysis. So
Gerald, where do I see my breeding program in 5 years? Hopefully, with a bunch of titled dogs and healthy, good-looking dogs with a substantial training program, possibly even a boarding facility, that kind of thing.
I make sure cookies.
Can you give Batista a kiss for me? Sure.
He's sleeping though.
Yeah, he's sleeping right now.
Here he goes. Take a look.
Is the pregnant lady going to bet the tiny bite from the cookie? Go, no. You never want to give your dogs chocolate, ever. Poisonous. Hi, Kyle. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well.
Not to be off topic, but Savannah, if you want to cook your cookies at a lower temp, they will cook more evenly. The thing about these cookies is that we really don't want them to be so even. They're not meant to be really perfect cookies. See, they've got pecans and chocolate. Mama doesn't like the flat, crispy cookies.
I call Preacher a hellhound as a joke.
Tasmanian devils. We'll call puppies Tasmanian devils. Mama.
Whoa.
They're good.
Bro. All right, so.
Casper, come here. No, Casper, no. really? Casper, get
Yep, they do.
Okay, sit. Good.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the cats, they know. They see it. Really?
You answer questions to Mom while I make her some coffee.
I don't want to talk to you, Casper. You're not supposed to be up there.
You talk to Mom. Let me get this cookie away from you. Say hi to Mama.
Good night, Lucoca.
Good night. Big woman, I can feel the baby.
If my pack were to become strays, would they stay together? I have no idea.
Like if they, so I have seen whenever we let them out in a big group, they move in a group. If they go to attack something, they move in a group. If they do anything, they move in a group.
Do I ever see myself leaving Texas? Yes, I do.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I want to move to Tennessee.
Cashmere, I love you. Ew, slobbery lips. Ew.
Is that why I don't watch scary movies? Actually,
She hates scary movies.
well, it depends. Some of them I like. Actually, what's funny is the ones I do like are the ones that I think could be real. Like, I like anything that could be based in reality. The things I don't like are the things that are like,
You mean the clown one?
like clown stuff or like, I don't know.
No, the clown incident.
I guess
was
that's
real.
not true.
The clown
That's not
incident
true.
was real. That did
That's not
happen.
true,
There was a
because
serial killer.
That's not true because I don't like okay, so this is like me. I'll watch Jaws,
I hate Jaws.
but I don't like to watch like open water, which is weird. I don't like Freddy Krueger type stuff, but I actually really liked that one, the Amityville Horror. I really liked that one. Actually, I've watched that a bunch. I bought that movie. I liked it so much.
The one that was another one that's good is the one in the house, not the house, the hotel. Did you really like that one or no?
Which one?
Not the hotel. What was it? It was the one. I can't remember the name of it. It's the Here's Johnny. You know that one?
Yeah, The Shining. I like The Shining.
Shining was really good.
That's
I know that
spooky.
one. Yeah, it is. It's because of the feel. It's a feeling movie. It's an odd feeling.
Yeah.
Ooh, an experience I had with a scary movie. I did not actually watch the scary movie because of the reaction I got from the dog.
Melissa Griffin, I do not have a breed mentor.
There you go, Karen. Go. Though she does experience the experience of having dogs with
I don't-
Reese.
I could never have a mentor because I don't like being told what to do. Ever. I don't mind suggestion, but I'm pretty well researched and I just don't like, I'd rather learn it on my own than like when you have a mentor, it's I'm not going to say it's lazy, but it kind of is. It's basically stating, I don't want to do the research. I want you to tell me what you know. So you will only know what that person knows. If you do the research on your own, then you own your own knowledge and you know as much as you can educate yourself.
That's not to say that you won't ask people who have been breeding for a long time that you trust for advice.
Yeah, I will ask people ask them their opinion on stuff,
Parenting
but
tips.
I don't do mentoring. I don't. Because when you do the mentoring thing, what you end up with is you inherit that person's ideas, their goals, their everything. They want to like embody you with their program. And that's not what I'm about, like
Somebody said, do you have any parenting tips? What's your main parenting tip, Mama? To any new parent, what's your main Mama?
What?
What's your main parenting tip? Somebody asked, do you have parenting tips?
I have no parenting tips. I'm not quite convinced that I am even a good enough parent to be giving advice. I've raised plenty of dogs, good dogs.
We'll just have to see whenever I'm
She's
an
13
adult.
years old. There's no telling how she's going to turn out. She's doing good, but we've had some rough patches. So,
I'm good. Just laugh every day. Sorry, Mom. Anytime I get in trouble, just laugh. That's what you do.
I'm in Texas. What lines to avoid in the Corsos? So this is the thing, is like anytime you hear about somebody, like every time, okay, for example, there's a couple dogs. There's like Jones is a dog that's been blamed for creating epilepsy. Conan is a dog that's been blamed for creating epilepsy. Another dog is like Sangue's, I forget his name, like Giovanni. There's another, like what you end up with is what you end up with are all of those males are males that have been bred like more often than any other dogs out there. Like they have a ton of healthy dogs out there that have had no issues, but then they might produce 1 or 2 dogs out there that do have epilepsy, and that if you breed those dogs with epilepsy, will continue to produce epilepsy. But can you say that the whole line is bad because that one male produced 2 puppies out of 2,000 puppies that is epileptic? I don't know. That's up for you to decide. I personally don't subscribe to that idea. I don't think that, quiet. I don't think that, Savannah, don't rob the dogs up. I don't think that enough people understand genetics to make that kind of assumption. Like there is, contrary to a lot of people, there is no proven genetic epilepsy in our breed at this point. There's no gene. We've been doing a lot of testing. A lot of money's went into it. Nothing has been found so far. So, you know, I can't tell you, you know, what lines to avoid, because there's for every sick dog out of a line, there's hundreds more that are not sick. So it's weird. And it's like, and when you look at a dog that is sick and you're like, okay, well, that dog is sick. Well, let's look at his lines. Well, guess what? His pedigree goes back to most people's pedigrees. You know what I mean? Like most people have these dogs in their line. Good luck finding a Corso that doesn't have Conan in the line. You know what I mean? Or that doesn't have Jones in the line. Like it's so ridiculous when you actually research pedigrees. It becomes very clear that it's not that simple. You can't just avoid a whole pedigree because one dog produced a puppy that had epilepsy. We would love to do that, but in the same way, think about it. Hey, quiet down. It would be no different than if you had like a dog with hip dysplasia, right? Like anybody who's breeding can produce a dog with hip dysplasia. Does it mean that if you produce a puppy with hip dysplasia, that you should discount the entire line because they produced a dog with hip dysplasia? No. So would you stop breeding that dog if all the puppies had hip dysplasia? Sure, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like you want to be breeding better dogs. And I think that everyone has that intention. So, but from what I've seen, every time I do research on this stuff, there's always somebody that's getting blamed for epilepsy. But then if you look, you'll see that it's just the lines are all in there. You know, it's so hard to explain. You'd have to do the research. You'd have to look at the dogs that they say are carriers, and then look at what dogs made that dog, and on top of it, look at all the dogs that also have those dogs in the pedigree, and ask yourself, why are none of those dogs having a problem? A lot of breeders talk crap about lines and don't even realize that they have dogs with those lines in their own pedigrees. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. So yeah, Melissa Griffin, a lot of people believe that breeding in boxers created epilepsy, but a lot of people don't speak about the fact that there's a lot of Rottweiler blood in Corsos, and epilepsy is very prevalent in Rottweilers. So boxers get blamed for it because boxers are pretty notorious for being an unhealthy breed, but you can't just blame it on them because they're the most obvious culprit. You know, there are issues in all the breeds up to some degree or another, but Rottweilers specifically do have problems with epilepsy. They do. Google it. It's a big deal with them. So you can't say it's just boxer when we know there's Rottweiler in the lines, and we know that Rottweilers also have it. Okay. But I was thinking about it too, like as I was driving today, and I was like, you know, like, could you imagine if we had the same rules for breeding people as we do for breeding dogs? You know, like we, as a species, we have a very high rate of disease, and yet, you know, we're all still breeding. Like I'm not saying that people should be breeding dogs with disease, but I do think that we have an unreasonable expectation of perfection in dog breeding. You know, we don't give any leniency for natural mutations and disease to come up. And we don't see it in nature because those animals die. Those animals, they're weak and they die. But if you watch animal documentaries long enough, just kind of quit, you will see that there are mutations that come along. You know, I remember watching a documentary on a zebra that was born with a physical mutation where it couldn't walk properly, and the mother and father didn't want to leave it, which is weird because the stallions usually have a bunch of mares, but this was a very small little, it's just him and his girl, and they didn't want to leave it. You know, they had a very hard time with it, but you know, overall they ended up having to. So these things do happen. They just die off in a way that we as people don't allow to happen. We nurture these animals, we save their lives. So seeing their deformities is right front and face and center. But I do think that there should be just a touch more common sense put into breeding and recognizing that there are no perfect animals out there. We are striving for the healthiest as possible, but perfection doesn't exist anywhere at this point, not even in nature.
Somebody asked about your coffee. They said, "Hey, Savannah, how about that coffee?"
Lucky. Why is he still in the kennel? Because
he's a bad dog.
We can't watch him. We can't keep an eye on him, and I don't want him going to the bathroom in my house anymore.
Lucky also asked, "How about that coffee?"
I know, right?
I don't know about
mine?
that coffee. I don't know anything about coffee. I'm sorry.
Let me see here.
Oh, well.
Let's see. Okay, all right. Jinx, Rachel, would you take name suggestions from your followers for your mail from Preacher and Cashmere and/or future pups? Could be fun. I could take suggestions. Can't guarantee that I'll take them, but I could do suggestions.
Dude, that's probably the most traditional cookie I've ever made.
Have you seen Rachel on YouTube Street Dogs of South Central where the stray dogs fight for dominance over a female in heat? Yes, I have. I've also seen the videos in Russia where the dogs like attack as a pack.
You see how traditional this cookie looks?
Yep. Can I have some coffee?
I suppose.
Melissa 0553. What is your opinion on Ghost from Shipley? I know they were first planning on not breeding him, but now they look like they may be planning on breeding him. I asked them if they were planning on breeding him. As far as I know, they didn't respond because I didn't get a notification, but I guess it is possible. I personally think that it's a very horrible thing for them to breed that dog. I truthfully do. I think that you know, legitimizing that is it's just gonna pop up more and more. Remember I told you guys that pretty soon this breed is just gonna be another bully breed? That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna have these blue-eyed dogs like him, and then they're gonna mix them with those blue tries, and all of a sudden we're gonna get those what is that color that they have? The cream. It's like a cremello in horses. What do they call it? What is it? Champagne, I think they might call it. It's just color fanciers, man. I really think that's why a lot of breeds traditionally outlawed a lot of colors, because they didn't want for people who are color fanatics to ruin the breeds, you know, by breeding for color. And that's what's happening. So it's pretty ridiculous. The dog isn't even a nice dog. They only want to breed him because of his color, and it's just sad. And the messed up thing is that people will buy those puppies, and they will not care, because the only thing they care about is that they have a pretty dog to look at when they get home. And it's just unfortunate. But you know what? What am I gonna do?
Also, the dogs will get you likes. They'll get you likes stuff.
So
because they're pretty.
Let me see here.
Pretty ugly.
What are your top 3 documentaries that you would recommend?
Living with Wolves.
I couldn't even tell you. Living with Wolves is the one I usually recommend just for understanding pack behavior. But other than that, I watch a ton of documentaries. I couldn't even begin. I'll tell you the one that messed with me the most that I don't watch anymore. Lions Behaving Badly. That one is like, gave me nightmares.
Why?
Because it's horrific. It's all about lions
who kill each other?
No, it's all about lions that don't, like most lions suffocate their prey before they actually begin to feed on it. For whatever reason, this pack of lions didn't. And everything they kill in this thing, they don't do that to. And it's horrific. Literally gave me nightmares. This elephant, oh God, I can't even begin. Literally gave me nightmares.
I remember one that really made me sad.
I couldn't watch that. That's just too much. Let me see here. Now, having said, I want to speak first about the coloration. Now, there are people that believe that the Cane Corso was also periodically bred with the, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Marima Shepherd, which is a white shepherd dog, kind of like the Anatolian Shepherd. And so what was traditionally known as a coloration called straw was seen. It's different than that dog Ghost. They typically have a, like almost like a yellow lab kind of color with a darkish brown mask usually. It's a very unique color. It's not white. Having said that, even though it was seen, the Italians decided to nix that color from the registry. So for whatever reason, they didn't want it in there. But that white dog is totally different. On top of that, pay attention to the fact that on top of being a kind of like a blondish yellow color, he has a white blaze all the way up his head. Like he looks like a pit bull to me. I mean, he looks like a pit mix to me. I'd love to see a blood test on that. Let me see here. No, they do not come in Merle. The Cane Corso does not come in Merle, although I have seen breeders breeding that now because what I tell you, they're doing just like the bully dogs. That's what happened with the pit bulls. They started breeding in, like you never used to see tricolor pit bulls until they started the bully dog thing. All of a sudden, I mean, when I went to get my puppy's ears cropped, there was a whole litter of blue tri bullies. And I mean, they're adorable. They're so cute. But I mean, they ruined the breed, the pit bull, in the meantime. And they've got Merle ones now, and they've got all those colors. And pretty soon, Cane Corso will be the exact same way. It'll be chock full of all these colors that are not for the breed, that oftentimes have a lot of health issues associated with them, in particular the Merle. It's a very tricky color to work with.
What color is it?
So, what's my opinion on the bully Kutta? Usually they have very bad structure from what I've seen. I haven't seen many good ones. You see here. Love your pack. People are obsessed with blue Corsos. Yes, they are. I see it all the time. Since I had the pit bulls, like I used to, you know, when it's a new color, you know, it's nice to see. I remember when I bred my first litter of pit bulls that actually had the blue color, and it's a very beautiful thing to see. But I mean, it's not. I've had it so many times over the years that it doesn't have the same effect on me anymore. And like I said, there's oftentimes a lot of genetic issues that come with it. Not all the time, but sometimes. You see here. All right, Connor. Yep, Nina, it's a tough one, girl. It's a tough one. I love me a nature documentary, and I like it whenever they're more real. But whoa, that was a bit much. Let me see here. Thank you, Sleepy Mercy. Let me see here. Yeah, he doesn't look great. That's what I'm telling you, Savannah. He's not even that nice of a dog. They're only breeding him because of color. It's really ridiculous.
Savannah, what?
Yeah, you're not the only Savannah in the world, Savannah. Savannah.
We should have named me.
All right. Stop. Quit. You're messing with people. That's Savannah messing with the camera.
No, I was trying to just make some more.
If somebody wanted a puppy from you but preferred that you chose the best puppy for them in terms of temperament and lifestyle match, would you be okay with that?
You've done it.
Yes, I would be okay with it. I do it all the time. Melissa, they're not white Corso. They're called straw. It's a form of Formentino. And yes, it is. Well, I don't know that it's a form of Formentino because Formentino is a dilute. And I don't know that the straw coloration is a dilute. It might be, but I don't know. I think some of them do have black noses, although I have seen some with liver noses.
Liver?
Liver is like a reddish color nose. So I think it depends on on the dog itself, but no, there should not be white ones. Having said that, it's still a color that is not supposed to be bred for. Regardless, it is considered a disqualification. And if you're being a responsible breeder, then you're not going to be breeding dogs that are of a disqualifying color. So, let me see here.
Will you be breeding?
I've swum with sharks in the wild, large man-eaters. Yeah, that's terrifying. Terrifying. I would not swim with sharks. I would not do it. I have been in the ocean, and I couldn't stop myself. I did go pretty deep. Alex was with me, and he was like, "Get back, Rachel, get back." He did not want to be deep, but
she saw a manatee out there.
I couldn't help it. Like I love the ocean. I love nature, and I just wanted to see. A part of me just is adventurous. So, but on the flip side, I was terrified the whole time. So I'm doing this thing where I'm like face down, and I'm just like spinning and like looking and like all this stuff. But it was very scary. But I did see a manatee. And
a sea turtle. Or Alex saw the sea turtle, I think.
Thank you, girl with a gun.
She didn't let me get close to the edge or to the deep part of the
We
ocean.
got so deep and the water was so clear that I almost messed up. I tried to go down to the bottom to get, because you find that all of the sand dollars are there, like complete, and I wanted to go grab one, and I thought I could reach the bottom, and then I couldn't, and there was nothing to like kick off of. Not fun. But I was able to get back to the top. But it is scary, man. Anything can come up out of nowhere.
Unless it's that clear.
But it's hard because it's such a beautiful place, and I love to swim. Like, get on to me for being fat all you want, but honey, in the water, I'm a seal. I move and glide because I've got that equal balance, because muscle don't float, honey. But it's equally kind of scary because you know that you can be eaten out there. So I don't know. It's a weird one.
You're equal prey out there.
So
the funny thing is that they say we're at the top of the food chain, but just wait until you swim in the ocean.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. Let me see here. Yes, Jessica Nelson, absolutely. They do have a lot of health issues. I get that all the time. People who get on to me for telling people that, but the truth of the matter is they are prone to having Demodex mange. It is a hereditary immune deficiency to a natural mite on the skin. It causes the mite to overpopulate. It agitates the skin follicles and then causes inflammation and the hair to fall out. Especially when you breed blue to blue. Like, good breeders won't breed blue to blue, or even dilute to dilute, like blue fawn to blue. Like, you shouldn't do that, because you just shouldn't. Just like you wouldn't breed merle to merle, but people do it. Let's see here. Will I be showing midnight this year? I don't know. I thought about it, but I don't know. We'll see. Let me see here. I'm more tough on velocity as part of the training. Do you think if you show her more affection to her, it will affect her temperament in a bad way? So she is the kind of dog that is has a very, very high excitement level. So if you are overly affectionate with her, or even really affectionate at all with her when she's in a mood, then it will only make it worse. And so it is sometimes better to kind of ignore her. Having said that, with all the training that I've done with her, a lot of people have noticed that she has really calmed down. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've gotten on to every dog in here today except Velocity. Keep that in mind.
She's right here.
Yeah, she's been very good. Very good.
Come here. Good girl. She's a good girl. She's a good girl.
Yes, Paulette, it is true. They did the same thing with Dobermans. They started breeding in the blue and tan Dobermans, and then they've got the champagne Dobermans and the white Dobermans, and it's just the way it is, man. It literally.
You guys get out of the kitchen now.
As long as there are breeds, watch out for that cookie. There are going to be people that are going to breed just, for color, just to make more. And not only will they breed for color, but they'll take that dog, lie to people, say it's a rare color, and charge you double for something that is not even purebred. You're paying for a mix. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're paying for. Like, you know, anybody could take one of those champagne-colored bully dogs and breed it to a Cane Corso and produce a dog like the one that Shipley has, and then be like, ooh, look at this ultra rare, you know, color, and it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So thank you, Crystal. Let's see here. Yes, I did watch Meg. It was funny. The one thing I didn't like is, why do they always have to be so cheap on the CGI for a megalodon? You know what I mean? Like, the megalodon is epic. Why can't we have a megalodon movie as good as Jurassic Park? Like, come on, guys. It's an epic creature, you know, like, do it justice.
How are they going to kill a baby whale and not kill a small dog?
Seriously, why did they have to show that baby whale go like that? Rude. I'm all about humpback whales.
She would have been fine. She would have been more fine with that little baby child dying than that whale.
I don't want children to die.
No, I'm saying rather than. She probably would. Okay, so she was more
connected.
She
was like asking for help. And it's like, oh, that's just nice.
It was even like hitting the tank to try to get help, and it was like, help.
So sad, dude. Leave the dang humpbacks alone. They're always preyed upon. That's the one thing, man. Like, I love orcas, but they do prey on my favorite baleen whale.
I bet you just scared the babies doing that. Cashmere, you burped.
Oh.
You can feel the baby.
Let's see here.
Dude, how are you gonna have babies?
Do I feel that a certain color of Corso is typically healthier? They did do a study, actually. There is a study that was done on the longevity of certain colors of Corso, which I thought was really interesting. I don't remember the findings because I want to say that the black dogs didn't live as long, and that really ticked me off because I have a black dog. But so I kind of quit reading it. But
you're like, no.
There is apparently a study on that. So
I love you. Hey, don't.
Yeah, see, Jess, you probably watched it, Jess B, or you read that too. Yeah, I saw that. I was not happy about the findings. I was like, man, I have a black dog. So, I do not have much experience on Akitas, Samuel. I've actually seen a couple of them, but every time I've ever seen an Akita, it was being held by a smaller than average human being that hardly had any control over the animal at all.
What?
And they were doing the whole lean back thing with the dog, like pulling at the end of the leash. And they're always super confident, dominant dogs, and they're gigantic. And I just, while I do think they're pretty, I've never been all that impressed with them as a breed thus far.
Go away. Get you go away.
So let me see here.
Oh, go away. Go away. Go away.
Where'd he go?
He's talking back. That's what he does.
Yes, a pot of orca should have taken the Meg down. That's right. That's what I'm saying. Get away! Get away! Dude, go away. Now, go. Do I think that there's a correlation between coat color and temperament? No, I don't. Not at this point, no. There's no way I can say that.
Oh, no.
I have not seen that to be true at all. No. You too. Go.
Like
Kashmir, go.
If a blue dog has a health issue.
Let me see here. Oh my God, Linda, yes, I have watched the movie Orca. I watched it a couple times. I remember how excited I was to see that movie. I was like, oh my God.
What?
Orca. Didn't I make you watch it? Remember where the orcas, like he like spears the mom and then the baby dies and then the dad comes and like hunts him down and he like gets his no, it wasn't his girlfriend. It was like his crew members' girlfriend's girlfriend. They think he bites her leg off or something.
No, I've never seen that.
It actually wasn't bad. And to be honest with you, I was trying to figure out how they did the footage of them pushing the female to the beach. Like some of those shots were just like, wow, how did they do that? It looked way too realistic. Let me see here. Where's Belladonna? She's sleeping around here. Her cone will come off on Sunday. Let me see here. There's Rachel with her ton of sugar. That's right. That's right.
You'd be surprised how fast she goes buying sugar. Mostly because of all the coffee she drank.
I'm not trying to live long, okay?
She's really not, apparently. But the thing about our family is we pass away from heart issues. Might as well do it from sugar.
I ain't here for a long time. I'm just here for a good time. I think it goes something like that. Let me see here. Let me see. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so a while back you recommended a couple of dog books. Savannah, can you grab me my books? Yes, I do know about the bull terrier with the egghead. I actually was gonna breed bull terriers. I had 2 of them.
Oh, back then, whenever you had those weird.
Do you remember that?
Dude, those ugly dogs. Yeah.
But they're weird.
Yeah.
They're not very. I mean, they're cute and all, but they're not very smart.
I don't like them.
I've seen somebody that's breeding like traditional ones, but they don't look like that. They don't have the big old fat egg heads. They have more of like a terrier type head.
You'd be surprised how many books mom has on dogs.
But
these are all of them.
Yeah. So okay. So there's another blue one too on the end.
No, I got
Yeah,
it.
that one right there. Until I can see it underneath the light. Okay, so because of the fact that I'm not a vet and I would get into debates with people about dog anatomy, I was one of those people that, like most dog breeders of the past, where I could show you what I thought was wrong with the dog, but I couldn't give you the technical terms. And so I started to get people that would criticize me because I didn't know the technical terms of things. So I wanted to learn those so that the people couldn't so easily disregard what I was saying just because I didn't know the technical term. So this is a great book for that. It's literally just an illustration of dog anatomy, and it goes through and it just tells you, it labels everything and it tells you what it is. Okay, literally. I'm not the type of person that will say I know everything. I'm not afraid to learn new things. People can insult you all they want, but the insults are only true as long as you let them be true. So, if somebody has a valid or even a invalid assertion of you, you can always choose to get insulted by that and get your feelings hurt and just go cry about it. Or you can say, you know what, take a look at it and say, well, maybe I'll use this as an opportunity to be better or learn more. And I'm more of that type. So it kind of takes people's power away from them. They can insult you, but when that insult is no longer true, then it's no longer an insult. So here's another one. This one isn't on just anatomy. This is actually explaining about structure and about how structure affects an animal's movement and their function. And so it goes through and it really talks about, all the differences. It's a really good one. I actually really enjoy it. I would highly pick this up. This one is the only one that I would recommend for dog training. This woman right here, this is an old book.
Oh, that's terrifying. This is the back door.
You get that?
Yeah.
It's based off of face. I mean, this, you know, just read it. It's very good. It's not going to be any treat training, okay? Okay, 101. This is literally just fun, just like little dog tricks, like just teaching your dog to do just whatever.
Which is not obedience.
Just little. It's not obedience. Yeah, it's just. It's literally. It's just tricks. You know what I mean? Like.
Does she ever recommend using treats in there? Does she ever recommend using treats in there?
Yeah. No, when you're teaching a behavior, like a new behavior, treats are fine for motivational working. Let's see here. This one right here on the trail. This is literally about search and rescue. I wanted to learn about doing some scent training, things like that. So I got this book for that. This is one that I just bought. Dogs in Action. It's about movement. It's about structure. It's literally a very technical book, as you can see here, showing you how certain angles will actually have an effect on the way the animal moves. Very good. Same thing here. Dog locomotion, gait analysis. This is a very, very cool book written by an engineer. He takes slow motion capture video of dogs and analyzes it and shows you remember how people would say form follows function. So when a dog is bred to do a certain thing, it actually develops specific physical traits to enable it to do that job the most efficient way possible. What I find interesting about it is that in this book, they show you the conflicting ideas between what actually is good working dog. And it shows you how sometimes the shows call for things that are actually counterproductive to the breed's original purpose. Very, very good book. An Eye for a Dog is also an amazing book. This was the first one that I actually started off with. It was really good for me because I was one of those people back in the day that hated the boxer look of the Corso. And I even used to say that I would rather have Rottweiler in my dogs. Like I just didn't have a very good working knowledge of type. And so to me, it was nothing to breed a Rottweiler to a Corso because I didn't understand the physical differences between them that affect the way that they move and work. And once I learned about type, I was able to then understand why dogs like the boxer and the bull the bull mastiff had been bred in by the Italians versus the Rottweiler. But it takes actually knowing about type to do that. All of these I got off Amazon, and so I think the only one that isn't on there anymore is this one. It's a very old book. I really like old books because they don't have as much politics in it. It was more of an exploration of knowledge back then. It wasn't a bunch of breeders trying to defend the mutations that they've bred into the lines like they do now. So anyway, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Whew. All right, let's see. All right, we're going to have to go out to bed soon. It is getting kind of late, you guys. I'll answer a few more questions, and then I'm probably going to head off to bed. Let's see here. The Catch and Hold Dog in Italy by Paolo, that I have not actually gotten my hands on yet. I want to say that the one when I tried to find it, it was in Italian, and I cannot read Italian. Esther, it depends on what Corso you have. There are a lot of Corso that blood test pure Corso, and there are some that don't. Depends on what you have. Let me see here. Let me see here. All righty. Good night, Terry. Let me see. SeaWorld also tried to blame Dawn for her death, and her family didn't speak out. Yep. They did. They tried to say that it was because of her ponytail, and that like she wasn't supposed to have her ponytail in the water or something like that. Despite the fact that that killer whale killed people before that. Yeah, it was really bad. Good night, Connor. I didn't see that. The SeaWorld completely not blah blah blah.
I used to want to go to SeaWorld. Back whenever we didn't know that they were.
Savannah Word. I've thought about breeding band dogs here, not necessarily creating my own breed, but ultimately it would just get ruined like every other breed. I mean, it would. I wouldn't want to because it would make me mad when people started to breed them in a poor way. Let me see here. Rough calling. Low velocity. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. Everyone's pretty much saying good night. So I think it's a good time to end it. We had a good live stream tonight. Thank you for everyone that has showed up. I really appreciate it. It's getting kind of late, so I think we're going to get to bed now. But hope you guys have a good night. And I hope you enjoyed our live stream. Yeah. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. Bye.
Bye.